Hello and welcome back to Reconnected. I'm imagining that many of our usual viewers are probably waiting until the debate is over to show up. But uh, for those of you that are already here, we got two very interesting people here with us tonight. First, Marc from Orbit DVD, who has not been here for over 2 years. Marc, thanks for coming back.
Wow, yeah. I'll come on weekly if you need me. I'm available.
The last time you were here, Orbit still wasn't doing pre-orders. That's how long ago it was.
That feels like a lifetime ago. I can tell you that. It's definitely put years on our lives once we started.
We'll get into the details and all that and see how that's going. But also, for the first time with us tonight, Mr. Jim Tutor. Jim, hello.
Ryan, it's fantastic to be here after being a loyal podcast listener to this and your interviews for just about a year now. I've become this has become part of my weekly routine, albeit this is the very first time I've ever participated in the video side of it. I've been a strictly audio only guy up until tonight. So this is exciting on multiple levels, as you might imagine.
Amazing. We're glad to have you.
I'll be here.
You're prettier than me, so you already got that going for you.
I don't know. I've been told I've aged poorly. But also aged well. So it depends on who it is, and I'm sure the same would go for you as well.
Yeah.
I'm freaking 50 years old, and all this gray just exploded. It just happened.
Oh, that literally just happened the past couple of years.
Yes, it's been a few.
We got Erica Schultz on the chat saying thank you, Marc, for carrying the Sweetest Taboo book for her.
Oh, okay. So do you have time to tell a small story?
Of course.
About her, yeah. So she emailed us, and she's saying, "Hey, my mom," and I'm paraphrasing, so correct me if you remember this better. But she's going, "Hi, my mom lives in the area, and around us, and it's like going, do you want to carry?" She wants to know if you want to carry my book, and I'm sure she done a research on us and knew who we were, right. But I'm like, we get solicited a lot, and I wouldn't say I blew it off, but we're like going, well, let's see what you got. And then she showed us, and we're like going, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever read. And we love it. Yeah, we like quoting from it all the time, and we're huge fans. So yeah, she completely blew us out of the water. Yeah, we were shocked that she was coming to us. We were humbled, I guess.
It's a gorgeous book. I'm so glad that it's
an amazing book. Yeah.
Well, speaking of success, I mentioned the pre-order thing. It's been a couple of years. So how has that been? Because it seems to me from the outside, Orbit's kind of exploded in popularity since then, which last time we were talking about how you got more popular since the start of pandemic. So it's like exponential increase now, it feels like.
It has felt exponentially, yeah. And I joked, adding years to my life every month here. But yeah. So we, I never was much of a pre-order guy personally, except for I had a video store, so we of course would pre-order for the store and whatnot. But a lot of the customers wanted it, and it made sense to us. The question for us was just, could we do it? Right. People think that we're a warehouse. We have this large space that we occupy. That's not the case. We have a store. So until about a year ago, we were still shipping behind our counter before we opened up, and we have office suites above us and whatnot. So my wife Deb kind of took it upon herself to figure this out, the pre-order process. So she is the one that has really made it a very, very practicable and for everybody. Customers, ourselves, the shippers, and the other employees that are pulling the tickets and things like that. We have worked out a system, and we have been stress tested with that time and time and time again. The next one is tomorrow. It's the largest for us, the largest American pre-order we've ever had, which is Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver 4K Steelbook is coming out in a few days. So, but we have no doubt that we'll handle it perfectly. And it like I said, everything's a learning process in life. And with pre-orders, we really didn't have anybody that we can call or talk to or anything like that. So we kind of had to figure it out ourselves. And so far so good. Yeah. Things get missed, let's say things get missed here and there. Like things with her never get missed. She is absolutely, perfect when it comes down to these pre-orders. But, whatever kinks we have in the beginning, they got worked out pretty fast.
Jim, switching over to you, why don't you share with everybody everything you do? Because there's a lot. I only listed a couple in the description, but there's a lot there.
Well, okay. You don't really want me to do that. We'll take up all the rest of the time. I wear a lot of hats. Primarily a really ratty cowboy hat when I'm outside. Okay. One hat I wore in the past was working on professional movie sets, like several of your guests in the past. I'm one of those people who made a go of it in the filmmaking side of things. I never really ventured outside Missouri, where I live. I live in St. Louis, by the way, not terribly far from where you are, Ryan.
Opposite corners.
Opposite corners, the same. Okay, yes, but in the greater scheme of this here United States, but we're not so far. We're not so far. So yeah. Anyhow, I've worked on films. In the art department, dressing sets, buying props, building things, all that kind of stuff over the years. Kind of drifted out of that. It is a hustle. It's a freelance gig economy, as they say. So when I wasn't doing that, and by the way, most of the movies I worked on, through no fault of my own, or the art department I worked with, or the St. Louis crew, who are quite great at their jobs, are no good. The movies are no good. And they're unmemorable and maybe even unreleased. But of note is Gone Girl, the David Fincher film. Worked on that. Got a nice credit at the end, credits of that thing. You have to scroll to the Missouri credits for that. And I worked the Cape Girardeau unit, which was about 3 months of work filming it. Then they went to LA and did another 6 months. And I did not join them for that on account of I have family here. I have 4 kids and a wife. And it was time to come home after that one. That was 10 years ago. And that was the last big movie I worked on. I've all the while I was doing that, also reviewing movies, writing up film reviews. Turns out that's the thing I can't not do. The passion for analyzing film, talking about cinema, just trying to, hash out what's what in the cinematic world is that's my number one thing. It took me a while to learn that. Unfortunately, it does not pay. But through that, I've gotten other perks. I've risen to the level of president of the St. Louis Film Critics Association. I've been doing that for 9 years. I'm pretty sure my term is up several years ago, but don't tell anyone. And yeah, actually my term will be up in 2026. I'm going to walk away after 10 years. So the St. Louis Film Critics Association, kind of, managing that. I also run ZekeFilm.org, a non-for-profit. And since 2005, I've been with Screen Anarchy, contributing randomly here and there over the years to, film reviews and whatnot. Nowadays, I pretty much just review criterions for them. But that can always change, But yeah, my main place to go is Zeke Film, my own website.
Look at that.
Oh, you Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid there. He just held up that, and I'm supposed to get a review copy of that for Screen Anarchy. And I haven't got it yet, and it's coming out next week, so we'll see. Anyway, that's just part of my long list, Ryan. Sorry, are you sorry you asked?
No, not at all. I think many
Uh-huh.
people will find that very interesting.
Oh, sure. How interesting can I be when we've got Orbit DVD on here? You
Oh,
know,
please.
that
Yes.
I'm just another pasty white guy who loves Blu-rays too much.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Well, Marc held up a
You're
Criterion.
just my type.
Right.
Is that a recent pickup for you that you're taking home there, Marc? Is that something that you're excited to get?
Yeah. I mean, I famously don't really have a large personal collection of films because
Right.
one of the reasons why I opened a video store is I mostly watch things once and I'm done. However, humongous Sam Peckinpah fan, and they did a number on this. I tell you, this. I mean, I haven't opened it yet, but
that's a big deal.
It's Criterion. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So,
are you going to open it on camera tonight? Part of the show.
You can do it. It's a. No. I will hold on to it in the plastic in hopes that it might increase in price in about 10 years. That's really what I'm going to be doing. It's a. Well, no, I'm going to crack it open. Do you want to see inside? Is that it? You trying to talk me into?
Well, I should be getting my own. I mean, it's up to you.
Right.
And it's Ryan's show. I'm kind of overstepping my bounds here, probably. There's a lot of business to get down to on this.
Well, first business is pickups. So we're talking about Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Is there anything else that you got recently, Jim, or anything else, Marc, that you want to show that's coming into the store? If you have anything close to you.
I've got some stuff, but you can go first, Marc.
No, you go first, and I'll run and grab a couple other things. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm prepared. I've got a stack of stuff over here. There's a backstory. I went last week on a road trip to Denver, Colorado, primarily to see the Rolling Stones. But while I was there, someone, I can't remember their name, on one of the Blu-ray centric forums suggested I go to Aurora, Colorado, and visit the Archive, the store, the Archive. Have you been there, Ryan?
I have not, unfortunately.
Not to talk up another store while Marc is here too much, but this was a unique kind of store because it's so Vinegar Syndrome centric.
Right.
And the girl that worked there, Teresa, is so fun. I mean, it's clear in true Vinegar Syndrome style that they make no secret of just blatantly wanting our money.
Yep.
There is that. But, she also kind of gave us the little tour of the store, which was a lot of fun. It's like, okay, I'll give you the tour. Over here, we got the Vinegar Syndrome. And over here, we got the partner labels. And then she started getting a little more informal about it. And then over here, we've got all the other labels, all that shit. And then over there, there's other shit. And then over there, and then finally it was like, and then over on that wall way over there, the bad movies. And I'm thinking, I mean, it's a Vinegar Syndrome centric store. I mean, I love it. I love
about
the
90%.
Aren't they all kind of bad movies? I mean, really, that's kind of why I'm here. And she was, what do you mean by bad movies? And she said, Forrest Gump. So it was all the mainstream. And apparently my brother said while he was roaming around in there, waiting for me to get done, they had a little shrine to all the different physical media releases of Dances with Wolves set up, which has to be hilarious. Anyway, that's while I was there, I got can you see this here? This is there it is. Stop Making Sense, the 4K A24 book slipcase edition, which I had said I wasn't going to get, but they had it. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but they had it for the same price as A24 selling it, except for now, since I was in the store, I didn't have to pay shipping. So it was like $58. And I don't know that I would have sprung for this had I had to buy it, for more than that. But since I was on vacation, and I'm a huge fan of the Talking Heads and this movie in particular, who isn't, I went ahead and got it.
Nice. So
it's Stop Making Sense, the Fancy Pants 4K edition. Here's a find from my local shop. I'm fortunate enough to have a local used Blu-ray shop up the street called Nickel Flicks. and they sell, used media there, really inexpensively. And it's a really nice store. My oldest son actually works there. Anyway, I found it came from outer space, 4K Ultra HD edition. It's supposed to be really nice. And I'm really looking forward to this. Great Jack Arnold classic. Jack Arnold, right, Ryan?
I do, yeah. We used many scenes from that in our visual essay for Film
Exactly. Here's Severin's The Astrologer. Another, I bought this sight unseen, but it was like, $12 or something. And it's like, well, let's just see. And here's one. This is, I haven't met Dr. Dodson on here yet, but he keeps talking about the Killer Condom 4K or the Killer Condom movie. So at the archive in Aurora, they had this on their Pride Month display. This used copy of the 4K it was $13. So if for no other reason than to hold it up right now and get a chuckle out of you, I bought this, and it's part of my collection. And then I got this. I was one of the lucky few to get this on $10 blowout at Vinegar Syndrome. And this is Kinzaza. Am I saying it right? Kinzaza.
It's more like a za.
Yeah, I'm terrible pronunciation, so you nailed it.
Also, I'm sorry if this is taking too long. Lots of great pickups.
It's what we all love.
DVDs. You guys remember DVDs, right? These are DVDs of the Drive-In collection, Vinegar Syndrome. These are the ones I was not able to snag when they were $5 during one of their sales. So I was able to fill in some gaps there. From Marc's competition, I just got a stack of these Radiance titles. There's The Moment of Romance, Facts of Murder, Elegant Beast, and this one, The Iron Prefect. So I got those on sale, and that shipment just showed up recently.
Nice.
And then finally, here's another Nickel Flicks local pickup, Doris Day, you guys. Doris Day collection on TCM from like circa 2009. This is 4 Doris Day classics from early in her career, before she became the world's oldest virgin. I teach, by the way, I should mention, I teach courses on film history also. I'm one of those guys at a school called Webster University in St. Louis. And one of my courses is the history of comedy cinema. So Doris Day is part of that. I'm done. Those are my pickups.
Love to see that. Marc, what do you got in? What is shipping now from Orbit? What do you want to share with us?
Sure. Well, part of my joys is we buy and sell used movies. So I'm able to just take home what I want from these mail-ins. So this might be the only official Russ Meyer we'll ever have. Anyway, there is Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, Criterion. Now, I brought home a new copy of this, but then what we're finding is people almost inevitably sell us brand new releases. For example, I just brought in Stop Making Sense. Someone sold it to me literally 2 weeks ago. And
wow.
So anyway, here is Planet of the Vampires. It's excellent. Speaking of Radiance there.
Getting hard to find already too.
Yeah. We were able to scrounge. We have multiple suppliers we have found in England. So once one gets tapped out, we just go to the other one and just start accumulating as much as we possibly can. But I was able to bring the new copy back and sell it and keep the used copy for myself. I was at Living Dead weekend earlier this month, and the great folks at Severin are always there. And I was able to get the Del Morte Del More. Hard to see with the glare there. So happy with that.
That's a killer release.
And finally, I collect 8-track tapes. That's my thing. I'm obsessed with 8-track tapes. I can show you 1,000 of them right now. But there is one person I really look to collect, and that is anything Ennio Morricone. Wow. So there is the very funky Extras 2, and then this is a great Italian compilation with some Giallo themes on here too. So I had to take home this movie too. Yeah. So and the story behind this. My wife actually bought me tickets to see him conduct twice, but he had twice had to cancel in Brooklyn, and never had the chance to see him. So it just really still hurts, but there's always the music I can listen to and watch the documentary. So yeah, I mean, this is actually kind of the biggest stack I've had in a while. But I was like, oh yeah, I'll take this one. Oh yeah, I'll take this one. Oh yeah, I'll take this one. So. It's great being an owner sometimes. It's like not having like the employees sometimes have to like really wrestle with, either eating or taking home movies. Whereas I was like going, no, I got this stack right here. So, so it's all good. Yeah. But like that's pretty much all I got for this month so far. But the month's not over yet. We'll see what happens.
And that's a pretty good month for you. I remember last time there was a month either.
Of course. Yeah.
I set aside 4 that I feel like people are not talking about enough. The first one, this is shipping now from everybody, the brand new The Guyver release. This is just incredible. This is the first time it's been uncut in HD in the US, and this is easily going to be the definitive release of this film. Another one that I picked up solely on the recommendation of dear friend Celeste Le Cabra, The Wolf House is another one that Orbit has had, and this thing looks amazing. Cannot wait to watch that.
It's a ride, I can tell you. Yeah, it's strap yourself in.
Yeah,
Next is Altered Innocence. This is a label that just left OCN, and I feel like people are already just forgetting that they exist. But She is Conan is one that everybody needs to check out. Another Bertrand Mandico title, and they've done, I think 3 or 4 of his releases now, and each one I feel like they're just ramping up in craziness, and supposedly this one continues that trend. And then finally, one of my favorite films of the last 10 years, I got in finally the 4K of Green Room from Second Sight. Love this movie. It is incredibly punk. It brings back a lot of memories of the music scene that I was in, and just an amazing movie. Mark, with how busy you've been, you have much time to watch stuff lately?
No. we love watching cooking shows, and I think it's now like beach renovation competition shows when we get home. We're so worn out.
Beach renovation.
What did I watch last week? I am still watching like maybe 2 or 3 movies a week. I am. It used to be 1 or 2 a night back in my heyday. Now I have an employee about the same age as me. He's turning 50. He still watches 3 movies a day. 3 movies a day. And he has literally seen everything. But man, that's so memorable. I forgot what it was. What did I watch?
Now we got people giving.
Yeah.
You could guess.
I guess.
Was it The Empire Strikes Back?
No. However, we did buy, I can't put this on the site, but we did buy those fan mastered Star Wars trilogy films for somebody. Legally we can't make those available, but I know that they've spent a long time doing the first one, and then I think maybe they had to kickstart the next 2, but I'm really excited to get into those just to see how
Yeah. The other course I teach is the one I created from nothing, is history of Star Wars and its effects on pop culture, leading up to the original films and then back. So yeah, I use those exact ones, Mark. Those fan restored, because it is, for academic purposes, absolutely, and also personal preference, we have to show those original theatrical versions, and that's the best way we can get them, is the fan recreations. They do a really good job. But like you say, it's under the table-ish, but everybody knows about them, I think, that cares.
Right.
Yeah, I find it very impressive.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I have them here now. I can't wait to watch them, honestly.
Yeah.
So mean, I was right there in the line the opening weekend. So, it definitely is a huge part of my life. Yeah.
So let's see. You would have been 4 years
No,
old?
I was 8. I'm 55. 55.
Oh, my mistake. Yeah. Okay. I thought you said you were talking about your employee who's 50.
Well, the employee is 50. Yeah. So, it's good having an employee that's around the same age as you culturally, because they hit the same, milestones or whatever cultural events happening together, for the most part. So it's good having someone to bounce things off of. Mainly a $6 million man and Bigfoot. That's basically all we talk about.
That's probably 85%.
Wonder Woman, so it is,
Jim, what about you? What have you been watching lately?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be given a day of uninterrupted viewing on Father's Day last week or whenever that was, 2 weeks ago. And that never happens because, like I said, I have 4 kids. It's hard to watch things. We only have one television, by the way, and we're all vying for it. Video games, streaming, whatever. But on that day, it was mine. And I watched this. I watched Nightmare Weekend from Vinegar Syndrome. This is another find from the Nickel Flicks store in where my son works. They were selling this out-of-print slipcover with a mirror on it. And, I'm not a big slipcover junkie, but I like a fun slipcover as much as the next guy. And, man, look at that. This is I was like, I don't know much about this movie. And then the guy working the counter, my friend Jeff, who works there, he's a bit older and loves trash movies. And he goes, "Oh, that's terrible." So I had to get it. And anyway, Nightmare Weekend was satisfyingly terrible. This thing has a puppet that kills people with a computer somehow, tying everything together. Apparently, the crew wasn't speaking English. The script was in French, and nobody knew what was going on. And man, does it show! Okay, next from Saturn's Core, Red Spirit Lake. You know that one? This is a shot on video, and I'm not a big shot on video guy either. But this came through the store, and it was I don't know. I think I paid $20 for this, which I don't know. I don't think you can get the cardboard slipcover anymore. So once again, I was snagged by this one. And Red Spirit Lake is nuts. I can't say I understood a minute of it, but it has that Lynchian fervor that maybe you want from your shot on video. At Screen Anarchy, I reviewed Querelle, the Rainer Werner Fassbender, the final film he made from Criterion. Querelle, very released for the June Pride Month. This is a strange movie. Did you guys see this?
I've not seen it yet.
Spires shaped like phalluses, built out of bricks, like practical. It's a very weirdly stage-bound movie, and but also highly cinematic at the same time, and just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of wickedly gay, if that makes sense. It's like early 80s. When queer cinema was still very much under the radar and had a bone to pick about being under the radar, a movie like this was just in everyone's face who bothered to watch it. So that's my review of this is on Screen Anarchy. Can
I say, Jim, too, I'm so glad you wrote about it. I read it, and I very much appreciate you including the picture of the architecture so that we can all see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's I should say difficult not to when it is such a point of conversation when you're talking about Querelle. How can you not talk about the phallic spires that are 2.5 stories tall that the actors are all just wandering past at any given point? How about sci-fi chillers? This is a review I did at ZekeFilm recently. 3 sci-fi chillers from the 1950s. I love. I think the 1950s is my favorite decade of movies. I think it's the most interesting decade of movies, with the 1970s being a very, very close second. Most people pick the 1970s. For me, I love the tension embroiled in these in the best of 1950s cinema, and so much 1950s sci-fi takes us there. With the Cold War and things percolating that will erupt in the 60s. The 1950s were a terrible decade, for a lot of people, but for cinema, it's one of the more interesting. And finally, this morning, I watched Francis Coppola's The Rain People. I guess we'll get to him later. Is that right?
Yeah. After we talk about announcements, we are talking about Francis Ford Coppola, and The Rain People just got a recent Blu-ray release. I know a lot of people were very stoked about that.
I found this for $2 at the store up the street, Nickel Flicks. So I bought this probably last year, and haven't gotten a chance to upgrade to the Blu-ray yet. And watching the disc of this today, man, do I need to, because this is not a good transfer in some ways. I mean, at first it seems like it is, but then you see the James Caan's red coat, and it's like literally pixely on this DVD, Warner Archive DVD of The Rain People. So if you're considering The Rain People, I would say go for that Blu-ray. It has to be better than this, the quality of this DVD.
And then you find out it was just a choice, and it was meant to be pixelated.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 1968 aesthetic choice. That's how cutting-edge Coppola can be.
I'll talk about my views with Coppola in a minute, but like he went back and re-edited the DVD release to add the pixelization and the code. That's how he envisioned it. Back in like with 68, 69.
Right. Yeah.
I love that we just rewrote Hollywood history, and somebody's updating Wikipedia right now.
You heard it here first.
That's a very interesting fact. Yes.
My last week, I went to the theater with my kids and saw Inside Out 2, and was pleasantly surprised that it didn't suck. Especially when Pixar just put out this announcement that they're shying away from directors' personal experiences and moving towards more mass market appeal films. And man, did that make me sad when they said that. But Inside Out 2, it's great.
It's pretty good.
I wish they should. Yeah, and it's very much like the first one. So if you like the first one, you're going to love the second one.
I think it's a little beneath the first one, but still very good.
I would agree with that. I think it's a little more, I don't know, like heady. They tried things with this one that they shied away from that first one. It's a little more advanced.
Maybe. It's the difference between a child and an adolescent, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. The other big thing, I revisited Scorsese's Gangs of New York for another podcast, and man, forgot how much I didn't like that movie, and still don't like that movie very much. The set design is nice, and Daniel Day-Lewis is fairly talented, but I don't like much else.
Yeah. I didn't like that when it came out, and I was bummed because it was this long touted thing that Scorsese had always been wanting to make since the beginning of his career, and then finally he got to do it, and he got to do it on his terms. And the thing comes out, and I thought, oh, is it just me, or is this really kind of sloggy and disjointed and just a little too big for? I don't know. Our local Alamo Drafthouse is going to be showing it, and I've been tempted. I have the subscription to that, so I was tempted to go check it out again after all these years. But I thought, I don't know. Is it just going to be the same thing? And it sounds like, Ryan, it based on your experience, yes, it would be the same thing.
Yeah, the opening is really nice, and then, man, let down fairly quickly after that.
I know. I have to see, because I've seen lots of mentions of just how shitty Diaz's performance was in the film, and like, is it really that bad? I mean, I might want to watch it again just to see if I didn't hate her in the thing, But
the accent is bad, but really the character was just poorly written.
Yeah, it looks like they maybe had to throw something a female character in there. I don't know, like I read a pretty good takedown of Scorsese by Richard Hell years ago. I think after this one of the show, the vinyl show came out. Just saying he's tired of the the Scorsese Boys Club. You know, it's like, and he had some valid points that he was making. He goes, you know, that's it wasn't his New York, but you know, Scorsese's New York or Guys Club is just, you know, it's kind of played out. Yeah. And you know, once again, some valid points there, but you know, I can't say I'd agree with it.
It was very oddly written relationship between Leo and Cameron Diaz, and that, I mean, the fact that he gets you know, jealous because she slept with people before he came around, and then hits her around a little bit. It's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember feeling like it was kind of stuck in its own mire. In a weird way. And I felt badly for not liking it, and for Scorsese finally getting to do it. And then it was this. I don't know.
It's a very muddy movie, so I forgive it for spinning its tires.
Lots of mud. Yeah, good big mud budget.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, are we ready to cover some announcements? By the way, I believe literally every single thing we're talking about tonight will be able to be ordered from Orbit DVD, except for maybe some of these Walmart Steelbooks, because I'm not sure if those are exclusive yet or not.
Well,
depends on the company. Depends on the company.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's get into it. First up, last week, our first announcement was You're Next, coming on 4K from Second Sight. This is coming fairly quickly, August 19th. And this is going to come with a brand new 4K restoration with Dolby Vision, approved by the director, Adam Wingard. We've got a new audio commentary with the director and the writer, Simon Barrett. We've got some archival stuff in here and a whole bunch of new interviews. Adam Wingard, Simon Barrett, the producers, a couple of the actors. Of course, it's Second Sight, so you got a long book with a bunch of new essays by Martin Caterio, Andrew Graves, Kurt Halford, Alexander Heller-Nicholas, Sheila Rowan Lee, and Heather Wixon, plus 6 art cars and all that fun stuff. You're Next. Anybody seen this one and like this one?
I have not seen it, but I've been wanting to make time for it since it ever came out. I've heard good things about it, but I won't be picking this up because it's a bit much for a movie like that I've backburnered for whatever reason. Mark?
I loved it when it came out. I think now it has created some horror tropes that has been copied a lot since then. But I think they're kind of the OG. They're kind of like the people that kind of set the template there. So yeah, I think it's great. I think Second Sight is great for, you know, really highlighting films over the past 20 years. It doesn't have to be stuck in the 80s. You know, when you reach, you know, you look at the horror genre out there, and we're excited about this one for sure. I haven't seen it since it first came out, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Same for me. I really remember liking Barbara Crampton a lot in this. Individual characters are just super fun to live in this little universe they create for the night. I also think it's funny that we have this overly crazy 4K lavish release from Second Sight, and then in about 12 minutes, we're going to cover this very cheesy Walmart Blu-ray release from Lionsgate in the States. But that's how it goes lately. Next up is this crazy looking Blu-ray release from Treasured Films in the UK, coming in August, of The Island from 1980. If you have not heard of this one or may not recognize this did get a very early Scream Factory Blu-ray. This one's got some big names in it too. You got David Warner, Michael Caine, directed by Michael Ritchie. Lots of new extras on this. New audio commentary with Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw. Interview with one of the stars of the film. We got visual essay by Howard Berger and Kevin Marr from Indestructible Man on Michael Ritchie himself. Visual essay by the author John Harrison about Peter Benchley on screen. And then one that Mark is probably excited about, Eugenio Ercolani in Italy made a 42-minute visual essay about Ennio Morricone. And that is the one reason I want this release.
Any Morricone special features is okay by me. Yeah.
In case the Ennio doc isn't enough, then you can always, supplement it with this, because I'm
buying 8 tracks. So, yes, I of course will watch this for sure. I always remember, like, I think as a teenager when the ads came out, I always thought this was a horror movie for the longest time, but it's not. It's pirates. But
Mark, Chris Silvestri is saying, I was going to ask if Orbit is getting this. It's not available for pre-order yet.
Oh, we'll have to look into that. Isn't Treasure Films the company that TerraVision is picking up? I can't remember.
They are selling Treasured Films on the TerraVision.
Yeah. So we might be waiting for that information before we move forward with that. We stock everything TerraVision puts out, so this won't be a problem. And also, we also looking for who will be cheaper for our customers. If it's still cheaper to get it from the UK or from it'll probably be cheaper to get it from TerraVision on my end. So yeah, once we get more information about it, we'll throw it up there.
Yeah, this is one a lot of people like. Jim, have you seen this one?
I'm not a big Michael Bay fan. No, I'm kidding. It's not that The Island.
I liked that island.
Like that The Island. Just to clarify, I have actually not seen either of these. I just couldn't resist the dumb joke. But no, I go for this. It sounds very interesting, but no, I have not seen it yet. I can't vouch for it.
All right, going to our next one. Then we got into imprints with some big ones. September 25th are when these 3 imprint releases are coming out. The first is the Tales of Adventure Collection number 4. We got on this one King of the Rocketmen from 1949, worldwide, first time on Blu-ray. Flying Discman from Mars from 1950, The Invisible Monster from 1950, Radar Men from the Moon from 52, Zombies of the Stratosphere from 52, Mysterious Dr. Satan from 1940. This one is in SD, but on Blu-ray. And then Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe from 53. This seems like it's right up Jim's alley.
Yeah. With the Star Wars course that I teach at the university, this sort of thing definitely has a place because young George Lucas grew up watching these episodes on television when television first came around and his family got a television. So yeah, this stuff's important. Now, for me personally, I wish I had the patience and the wherewithal for old serials more than I do. I know you're not supposed to, they weren't made to just be watched binged in a 3+ hour sitting, but that is what most of us would end up doing when you throw in a disc like this. And it just wears me out after a while. There's something about it that is as fun as it can be. Daredevils of the Red Circle from Kino Lorber a few years ago. I reviewed that. That's supposed to be the best adventure serial ever made, period. So says the experts, and that wore me out. So I don't know. I'd love that said. This box set. Who's this? Umbrella or Imprint? Imprint. This looks fantastic. It's hard to resist this, although I know it would wear me out.
Mark, any thoughts on this one? It does.
I can tell you already, this is going to be the most popular Tales from Adventure set yet. Just looking at our pre-orders, I think people have been waiting because the previous ones have seemed like Jungle Adventures and just the run-of-the-mill action films from the period. But this is the one. It's the serials, sci-fi, a little bit of horror elements as well. This is the one I think people have been waiting for. And I'm looking forward to it myself, to be honest. Some of these I've seen, a lot of them I haven't.
If you are a special features nerd like myself and like a lot of us, they are making all the right choices for this as well. They got Tom Weaver to do audio commentary on about half of them, Gary Garani on the other half, and this is just going to be probably an almost perfect set if you are into this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitive set. I can't imagine anything better.
Supposedly they've got 2 or 3 more of these Tales of Adventure sets coming. So if you're into this stuff, I hope you got your wallets ready because these are pricey.
Yeah, this is the most expensive. I think most of them only have like maybe 3 or 4 movies in them. But this one's packed, definitely packed.
All right, the next one from Imprint is Voyage of the Damned from 1976. This is from Stuart Rosenberg. This one is going to have a 2-disc hard box collection with a brand new interview with Malcolm McDowell, new audio commentaries, and then a rarely seen 3-hour extended version of the movie, although that one's only in standard definition. We got Matthew Asprey Gear, who's doing the commentary on the theatrical cut. Daniel Kramer's doing the extended cut, and then Malcolm McDowell with that new interview, and maybe some more special features coming eventually. Voyage of the Damned. I'm not sure if I've seen this one. I feel like I have, but I don't remember quite. What about you, Mark?
This one, it's one of these films that we probably would catch on TV.
Yep.
A couple years after it came out, and for the life of me, I can't remember it. So sometimes, like these, star-studded cast, disaster films or whatever, action and adventure films, they're kind of a blur in my earlier memory. And, I can't remember this one, to be honest. I might have seen it.
Especially the 70s. They all blended together.
I mean, and I was too young to be enjoying. I mean, I enjoyed the 70s immensely, but I was too young to be really enjoying the 70s. So
what about you, Jim?
I've never seen this, and I haven't really heard about it, I have to say. But yes, it does very much strike me as one of those 1970s wannabe mega productions. As we can see from the cover of the outer box, there's, what are we looking at here? 18 heads of actors, recognizable, famous, like, oh, look, it's so-and-so. Is that fake?
I can point out 3 of them right now, I think.
David Niven, Orson Welles. But and I see the ship is cruising over a giant Nazi swastika in the ocean there too. So that's telling. They're literally in the shadow of death, it says. That's the tagline, in the shadow of death. So that's why they are damned on this particular voyage.
They got lost in the Bermuda swastika.
Oh, it happens. It happened a lot in the 70s.
Yeah. It starts in the upper the upper left. That's where you get confused.
Ends down there in Chile.
That's right.
Watch out.
Next one, Imprint putting out Capricorn 1. This one, of course, a classic that many people love. This one is with Elliot Gould, James Brolin, that one guy, O.J. Simpson, and even Karen Black. This is going to be another 2-disc hardbox release that includes the theatrical cut and the rarely seen 2-hour and 9-minute extended cut, both in HD. On this one, we got a new audio commentary by Daniel Kramer and Daniel Waters, who's the screenwriter. He is also on the extended cut. There's a new interview with Elliot Gould. There's some archival featurettes and all kinds of that good stuff, plus more coming in this one. How do you guys feel about Capricorn 1?
I want it. I've never seen that, but I want that box set right there. That's looking good. That's in my wheelhouse again for the Star Wars studies that I do. In the wake of that, this movie comes along the following year, and it's very much in the pre Star Wars 70s milieu of distrust and paranoia, and that's still carrying over. That's interesting. It's also a star-studded film with you got your paranoia, you got your O.J. Simpson, you got everything. They're faking the moon landing and this comes along just in time for the Fly Me to the Moon theatrical release, that Scarlett Johansson movie that's coming out, also about faking the moon landing. Topical.
That's a lot about faking the moon landing. All right. All the O.J. Simpson jokes. That is Capricorn 1. Like I said, all of those coming on September 25th, Blu-ray from Imprint in Australia. One of the bigger pieces of news from the week, other than one main title making its 4K debut, Variety reported that Shudder and IFC are partnering with Severin to deliver home video releases of specifically 11 special edition physical titles that they're going to be putting out, including Satan Slaves, Antiviral, Baskin, the 2012 remake of Maniac, Sisters, and the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Now, on one hand, this is exciting because it could lead to more streaming service titles coming to Blu-ray. On the other hand, mostly everything they announced here have been released on Blu-ray elsewhere, and I'm wondering what they're going to do to mine out of these. Any of these titles specifically that you guys like or have an interest in?
Oh, I absolutely love Autopsy of Jane Doe. I mean, that's
amazing.
That's amazing. I enjoyed the Elijah Wood Maniac. Antiviral is a good, Antiviral is a good debut for Cronenberg. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these, this is solid list here. I'll say Raven Banner has Autopsy of Jane Doe in Canada, and that's probably one of the best slipcovers ever. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. It's incredible, and we have sold a ton of them. So I don't know if they can top that or not. We'll see, but I'm well. Please try. I want to see what else they can do with it. But it also came out through Shout Factory, I think,
right
earlier, or still is. I think it's still available through Shout Factory.
Yeah, so, I believe a few of these are, like Baskin was as well, and and even like the Maniac remake got a 4K release from Germany.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Mr. Tudor, what do you think?
Well, I think I mean, it's Severin, right? And like you said, a lot of these have been out on Blu-ray, sometimes multiple versions. Is it too much to speculate that we're probably going to get 4Ks of these from Severin?
I think you have to. I mean, I
kind of think you have to.
Yeah. We have a saying at Orbit, lateral moves sometimes do not make it better. It's got to be really impressive, like a remaster or something like that. So, people don't like switching from Blu-ray to Blu-ray, even though it could have elaborate packaging or whatever. I mean, it really has to be a leap up in quality and format to get people interested in it. So you're probably right. I think it is going to be 4K.
Offhand, I would get Antiviral, because I've never seen it and I don't have any version of it yet, and Autopsy of Jane Doe for the same reason, honestly. And I've been wanting to get around to those too. The Maniac, the Elijah Wood Maniac, unfortunately, I just bought a cheap Blu-ray of that used just, I think, a couple days before this announcement dropped.
Thank you for your service, is what we say. Yeah.
Unless there's some sort of bundle that month with a 4K of that, I don't know that I'll be going out of my way for it.
It'll be a 4K bundled with a full mannequin for you to take home.
There you go.
Well, that's hard to resist. And something my wife would just love to have in the house, I'm sure. Along with the stacks and stacks and stacks of physical media, just customized clutter, man. Bring it.
Have either of you seen Baskin yet?
No,
but I think my staff likes it, if I remember correctly.
Baskin is wild. Strong recommend for anybody that's never seen it. It is I think it's Turkish film, and it is like a descent into hell like I've not seen in a film like this in a long time. It's rather well done, really great practical effects, and highly recommend Baskin.
Is that the lady from the a few years ago, The Lion, that Netflix show that everyone was watching? What was that? Where
Carol Baskin.
yeah. Is that about that? Because if it's that, I don't want to. I'm not interested.
Well, okay, that was a good joke. This is nothing to do with Tiger King, thankfully.
Tiger King, that's right. I didn't see 1 second of that, but I got sick of hearing about it. And now there's a movie called Baskin that seems to reference it. I'm just keeping my distance.
That was really funny.
I did. Not a joke.
Okay. Next one up is 1987's Hiding Out, featuring John Cryer, is coming soon to Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. Obviously, we have no idea the date because they do this all the time. But this is what we are getting. I've never seen Hiding Out. I was never a big John Cryer fan. Either of you?
No, I've never seen it, but I remember when it came out and it got trashed in the local newspapers by the local critics. Before my time, of course. I don't know, what is this, 8th grade for me. So no, can't can't say I've seen this or that I'm looking forward to it. Although at ZekeFilm we've had a pretty good relationship with Kino Lorber in terms of getting screeners and whatnot for review. If this comes along as an option to review, maybe I'll take that opportunity to catch up with Hiding Out. Otherwise, I don't know.
I get that. Yeah, John Cryer's never done it for me. I got to be honest.
Superman 4. He's the terminally 80s guy, isn't he? That Lex Luthor's nephew in Superman 4. He'll be he's immortal for that. And then going on talk shows a decade or two later and telling hilarious stories about how bad it was making Superman 4.
And yet he worked for years on 2.5 Men. So it's
good money if you can get it.
Absolutely, I'm sure he's laughing all the way to the bank with that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Our next one, August 27th, we're getting a 4K and Blu-ray from Warner Brothers of Watchers from this year. This is the M. Night Shyamalan family Nepo Baby movie that came out starring Dakota Fanning. And this one, unfortunately, didn't get rave reviews. I know you get to see some new ones often. Did you see this one, Jim?
No, oddly enough, they chose not to show this in advance to critics, which is happening more and more often with all sorts of movies. But back in the old days, certainly we would say, if they're not showing it to film critics, well, they're trying to hide something.
There's a reason.
With this one, I mean, my gosh, how blatant could it be on the commercials and the trailers? Shyamalan, Night appears before it, and then Ishana. It's like, wait, what? And then it's produced by her dad. I won't know. This I've not seen, and I don't know. The Point of No Return is what that says.
Yeah, and then 1, 3, 4 below that.
Yeah, that. I mean, even by skeleton standards,
this plays into the film.
I was going to say, even by skeleton standards, this skeleton's seen better days.
Unfortunately,
that's all I have to say about this. I don't know anything. The Watchers.
Let's go on to the next one. Our next one, we announced this last week, is coming from BFI, but because of that, Deaf Crocodile had to spill the beans that they are working on a Blu-ray as well of The Outcast from 1982, the Irish film. Their bonus features that they wanted to share with you, just in case you wanted to go with theirs over the BFI release. They're going to have a new video interview with the director. They're going to have a new commentary by the producer and professor Rod Stoneman, who is the former head of the Irish Film Board and a former director of the Houston Film School at the National University of Ireland. There's a new essay by Paul Duane on this that is going to be exclusive to the deluxe edition. Walter Chaw also wrote on this one in the deluxe edition. And then there's going to be a bunch of short films, which Deaf Crocodile always does a great thing with their short films. Always appreciate these. And as a final reminder, you are only able to subscribe to Deaf Crocodile for the next couple days through Diabolic DVD if you want to get in on that subscription service. First off, The Outcast. This one sounds good. How do you guys feel about Deaf Crocodile?
I love
what watching right now, so I love Deaf Crocodile.
Yeah. Deaf Crocodile? Are you kidding me? That's like the best thing.
literally up there in the
that's no. I mean, they didn't pick my name for their crocodile, which was.
No, I think Deaf Crocodile is great. I love them. I love them.
I have a mind to bail on this. What do we call this? This appearance on Disc Reconnected, and just go watch this movie, Kinzaza, because this is Deaf Crocodile, and Deaf Crocodile is so amazing.
It's a great movie too. Genuinely a masterpiece.
Well.
All right. Going to our next one, Internal Affairs from Kino Lorber is getting a 4K release in the U.S. This is the 1990 Richard Gere movie that has Laurie Metcalf and Andy Garcia. And I believe this was in one of the Imprint After Dark neo-noir cinema box sets.
Yeah, I think so.
So now you're getting an upgrade in format to 4K. And it looks like we're getting most of those titles eventually from Kino.
Yeah, it does, which is fine. I don't know anything about this, although it's one of those generically titled cop thriller, neo-noir things that came around so often in the 90s that no one could keep track of them all. I'm thrown by the cover here. We've got a cover image of this disc where it's like the original poster, and go down. It's like where it says Internal Affairs, and then above it Richard Gere and Andy Garcia, and then right there above it is, I guess that's Andy Garcia and a girl, and it's like just my brain assumes that the names are going to be the faces that we're looking at right there, and it's like that's not Richard Gere and Andy Garcia.
Oh, no, that's Richard Gere undercover.
Who's the girl?
Yes.
Yeah, they're charming, they're seductive, they're deadly. I don't know. Is any of that ever true for an internal affairs department? I mean,
yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah, it sounds pretty mundane to me, but the lighting here sure is evocative. So,
all I know is the person who buys for our store, she's obsessed with these, like I guess maybe post or kind of pre-Basic Instinct, like sexual thriller.
Yeah,
like a neo-noir film. So I'm going to hear a lot about Internal Affairs, I'm sure, until it's released, until the next one comes out. So
everything in the documentary "We Kill for Love" is her deal.
Right, and she's mentioned that.
Yeah, that movie's good.
Well, our next one is probably the biggest single movie physical media news of the week. Bringing Out the Dead, finally getting not only a Blu-ray release, but a 4K release direct from Paramount on September 17th. And they actually spent money on new special features. We've got some new bonus content with Scorsese, with Nicolas Cage, with Paul Schrader, with Robert Richardson, and then some archival stuff on set with a bunch of the actors on this. Kind of 50-50 because Paramount is iffy on their 4Ks over the last couple of years. But knowing that it's this and it's approved by Scorsese, I'm hoping for the best. This is a big deal. Either one of you excited for this one?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm getting it. This is. I saw this movie when it came out. It's stuck in my head. And I remember hearing an interview on NPR with Thelma Schoonmaker, Scorsese's editor, longtime editor, and they were, she was there to talk about whatever the new movie was that Scorsese had coming out. But she just kind of casually mentioned that, something that we tried back on Bringing Out the Dead in 98, 99, whenever this was. And she goes, "That's a movie. Its time will come." And it's like, amen. Its time will come, and maybe its time is in fact September 17th on 4K from Paramount.
A funny connection with this. One of my friends here in town is older than me. He rode with that character, the guy who wrote the book, and the character that Cage is on that. Wow. He told me stories wilder than anything in the film. And this, imagine being an EMT in the worst parts of New York City during this time period it's unbelievable. And he said, yeah, everything is true. And then he told me even crazier stories after that. So now he wasn't, I think in this realm or during this time period exactly, but he definitely was friends with this guy and they were partners sometimes and things like that. So, wow. But I agree. I think this is an absolutely brilliant Scorsese film. I feel that, I don't know, maybe it was just too dark for the audiences when it came out. And like I said, too arty, it was like maybe too much,
Yeah.
But I'm excited about this. I really am.
It's Paul Schrader scripting it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think that's right. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I believe that's right, and that's a big part of the draw. It ought to be anyway. And yeah, Mark, like you're saying, my brother back then was studying to be an EMT, and he was doing ride-alongs, and he came out of this movie with me saying, his limited experience doing EMT ride-alongs, it's like there's a lot of what goes on in this movie. Just, picking up the same people every night and things like that, and not knowing what to do with them. And then real legit things come up that are a big deal. This is this release, I think, is a long time coming. Hopefully they do a good job on that 4K.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that's a big deal. And Paramount, yeah, the last couple of years they've been iffy, but I really feel like this one they're going to go all in. I mean, this is like one of the most anticipated titles from them. They
Anything
can't screw
shot
this one up.
anything shot by Robert Richardson too. I just see his name on here. City of Ghosts. He's interviewed on here. I guess one of the new bonus features. That guy, boy, he shoots most of the Tarantino movies. He shot a lot of the Scorsese, a lot of the Oliver Stone back in the heyday of JFK and Natural Born Killers. You know, just wildly visual, creative DP. That I got to work with once on a beer commercial and Anheuser-Busch here in St. Louis back in my art direction days. Yeah, cool. Robert Richardson shot Scorsese, Nicolas Cage movie. Bring it.
It's a big deal. All right. A few more left. MVD Rewind announced 1982 Greatest Geek Year Ever is getting a Blu-ray release on October 22nd. Also coming out on DVD for people still buying those. They got a commentary with the director and producer, one of the writers. Second commentary as well, some deleted scenes, some fan featurettes, San Diego Comic-Con panel, all that kind of stuff. I believe this was previously a Kickstarter film, just getting a wide release now that they've produced everything. And MVD Rewind does fairly good for the most part. I'm sure this will be a good release.
Seems, I don't know, it's yet another, 80s video
Nostalgia hit piece.
Nostalgia baiting, I mean, okay, I don't know that I'd need another one of these, but the kid on the cover is reading Daredevil issue 181, one of the all-time great Marvel comic standalone issues, Bullseye versus Elektra. And that right there tells me that maybe, just maybe, the people who made this are actually putting their heart into it and know their stuff, and it's not just chasing a buck.
Yeah. That's a big deal. All right. Next one is the next Severin title. This is coming as part of their summer sale in July. This will be from July 12th to the 15th. This is the North American Blu-ray premiere of Don't Change Hands from 1975. This one says, from iconoclastic French writer-director Paul Vecchiali comes the wickedly perverse thriller that subverts the conventions of film noir by slyly flipping its traditional gender roles. When a prominent politician receives a pornographic film starring her son, she hires a hard-boiled private detective to track down the blackmailer. But as bodies strip down, corpses pile up, and suspects are never what they seem, will this case climax with the most shocking bang of all. Oh, the copyright on this. We are getting a brand new 2K scan from the OCN on this, an appreciation by the director from Knife and Heart, the author Matthew Orlane on the life and impact of Paul Vecchiali. Screenwriters will be talking about this conversation with one of the actresses and one of the actors, and there's going to be a trailer on this. Severin coming with the really eclectic lineup for this sale. Very, very interesting to lead off with opera and then go with a whole bunch of titles that seemingly almost nobody has heard of so far.
We don't know. Yeah, I can't say I've ever heard of this. I'm one of those as well. And color me fascinated, but I don't know that I'll be jumping to purchase this. It strikes me as a Severin title that I will probably wind up with eventually.
Same.
This is why I love this hobby, to be honest. I mean, I have never heard of this movie, and
Same.
I can't wait to watch it. It's like, once again, just someone taking something just totally obscure and lost to time, I guess maybe especially with American audiences, and bring it out and showcasing it. This is fantastic. So I hadn't even seen the film. I already like it.
Well said. Well said.
I rarely buy things for the slip art, but this one, for being from Severin, is very unique compared to the rest of the stuff that they put out. I'm liking this art style.
Yeah.
Going to our next one. Oh my gosh. We got some details for Kino's 22nd film noir box set, August 7th. They are putting out the film noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 22. This is going to have Captain Carey USA, Appointment with Danger, Make Haste to Live. And we get commentaries from Gary Garani, Heath Holland from Serial at Midnight, who's going to be on there with Max Allen Collins, the author of Road to Perdition. And then the last one is going to be by Sam Deegan herself. Some interesting choices there, but the 22nd film noir box set from Kino, and they're not slowing down anytime soon, it feels like.
Not to be Mr. Correcty Pants here, but it is just 20th, right? That's
sorry. Yes. They had announced 22nd last week.
Roman numeral X, Ryan.
I got ahead of myself.
Yes.
They've announced through 22. This is just some details for the 20th.
Yeah. I don't know. These things, I've got a love-hate relationship with these film noir Dark Side of Cinema sets, which a lot of people have expressed. But I reviewed a lot of them, and I finally kind of jumped ship on it after the fifth one, because it's like, this isn't noir. I mean, right. you know what I mean? I know you've mentioned this before, Ryan. I've heard your offhand comments, and that's like, thank you. Thank you. Yes. They do a great job of getting these restored, remastered, wherever they're getting their masters from. Getting these out on DVD, that's fantastic. But why do we have to call them noir just to sell them? I guess the term film noir, when it comes to vintage movies, is one of the few branding terms that still resonates with film buffs and buyers today. So they're exploiting that in a, I think, not honest way all the time. But that said, I'm still happy to have them on Blu-ray.
Mark, how do you feel about these types of films?
It'll be sitting next to the 19 others we have for sale on our shelf, I guess. I mean, I've heard of a couple of these titles. I mean, it's a genre that I do appreciate. And, but like most genres, you see the best in the genre, and you're not really seeing much else, after that. I do agree that, a lot of this stuff is a stretch, that it is film noir sometimes. So, but yeah, bring it. I mean, film noir it's still very popular for us, which if it's popular for us, I'm sure it's popular all around. And it seems to be gaining popularity, actually. I don't know if there's anything culturally that's happened to get interest, maybe just the physical collecting of movies has sort of piqued some interest. But it seems to be just getting bigger and bigger out there. So,
well, there's still film noir conventions, like in I think it's November in Palm Springs, California. There is a film noir convention that people are traveling to just come hang out and watch film noir together for a full weekend.
Did they all cosplay? They wear it's like
probably. There's probably a lot of trench coats.
Sign me up. That's how I'll check it out.
They wear fedoras. They're the But again, I don't know Captain Carey USA. I don't know that movie. Someone's asking about it in the comments here. I can't. A movie. I'm sorry. That title just does not sound very noirish to me. It really doesn't. It sounds like what happens a lot of times with these Kino Lorber film noir sets is it's old. It's black and white. It was made during the noir era. Depending on who you ask, 1941 and 1958. Therefore, maybe it has a gun in it at some point. Good enough. Throw it in. That said, I may or may not check this set out. I can't get them all. I mean, good grief. We're looking at 20 of these and counting.
Yeah, they've already, like I said, they've already announced all the way through 22. And we'll get an announcement for 23 soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a shelf space issue. And here's a Sci-Fi Chillers, the Kino Studio Classics put out. This is a similar 3-movie set with commentaries and everything else. And look at it. It's the size of a single Blu-ray case. Everything fits right in there. And yet what we're looking at with the film noir sets, they're sticking to this, 3 case slip box thing, and I'm sorry, I don't have the shelf space for 20 of these things.
It's a lot.
It is.
That's multiple shelves of films.
It is.
All right, next up, we got kind of an odd set. Walmart is getting a landslide of Lionsgate titles coming on August 10th. These are all Steelbooks, and they all have one of those PET plastic sleeves that go over the top of them. And what's interesting is a couple of these are making Blu-ray debuts in the U.S. in this type of release. First off is Wolf Creek. This is one of the ones that is a Blu-ray debut in the U.S. This is the first official U.S. release of Wolf Creek in HD. It's got all kinds of archival extras. We got the commentary and then a making of, deleted scenes, and a trailer. Won't go into too much detail on all of these because they all look very much the same. So same date, August 10th, or that was supposed to be August 20th, not 10th, sorry. This next one, Hannibal Rising, also a Blu-ray debut. Not the best of these films. It's probably one of the worst. But yeah, first time on Blu-ray in the US. This one, again, has a handful of archival extras. Sinister also coming in one of these with a couple commentaries and some featurettes. The 2013 Texas Chainsaw release loses its 3D disc. It's only coming in Blu-ray, not the 3D Blu-ray, and then gets all of the legacy features that it has. You're Next, also one of those that's on this list. And then I Spit on Your Grave, the 2010 remake, also coming in this pack. This is a weird mix.
And it's Walmart? I mean... That's, I don't know. I did just go buy Lair of the White Worm at Walmart on
Yes.
Blu-ray because I want to support, more Ken Russell movies coming to Blu-ray at Walmart. Freaking Walmart. Are you kidding me? Weird. Had to step foot in there for this. I don't know. The I Spit on Your Grave remake. I'm not sure. The only people I've heard say good things about this are avowed weirdos. So if you're out there and you're not an avowed weirdo in a negative
Mark.
way, I mean, we're all weirdos, aren't we? But I'm talking about the creeps. There's a difference. And is this anything? I don't know.
Mark wants to interject.
Please.
No, I'm not ashamed to admit that I like. I was saying I like this film. I appreciate it. There's tons of man kills. That's always great. So
yeah, I respect the original one a lot, even though it's a tough watch.
Yeah. This one's equally as tough, but
yeah,
I say that's effective. It's very effective, actually. So. Probably the best man kills I've ever seen is in this one. So it's, my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people that like this one more than the original.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's better made, I guess.
Okay.
This is another. This whole series is another what I just said about lateral moves. It's like you got to really be in love with the packaging. We have seen a huge uptick in Steelbook customers, mainly, I guess, because of Best Buy closing up shop for the physical media. But, overwhelmingly what people want is 4K Steelbooks. So, I don't know if it's something they're just farting out with a Steelbook cover or not, or if there's actually remastering done. The Wolf Creek sounds intriguing. I actually never even thought that, because we have so many imports, never even thought that has not come out in the States. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, there is a market for this. But once again, I think most of the Steelbook collectors that we personally know, just through the interaction through the store, is 4K or die at this point. So,
there is one more from this drop, but we'll cover that in just a moment because it got announced afterwards.
Humboldt Horror Honey's bored by the artwork. Did we just get a Death Crocodile massive hint here in the comments?
He's actually referring to a title they've announced already. So,
okay.
Death Crocodile alluding to the fact that they've got Ken Russell and Drag coming in one of their releases soon.
What's the title?
Trapped Ashes, I believe, is the title that they're referring to. Dennis Bartok's anthology horror release.
Oh, that. Okay, great. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I'll get it. I'm buying
Moving to the UK, we've got August 5th, Studio Canal releasing The Weak and the Wicked. This is coming on their Vintage Classics line, all the way back from 1958. And I got to admit, every single one that I have from this Vintage Classics line, I have bought from Marc at Orbit, because I think you guys are the only ones to consistently get all of these titles in.
Yeah, we're obsessed with Studio Canal, and they are, they're huge. You got to figure how many European films they, either co-produced or produced. And we will snatch up any Studio Canal film that comes out for sure. And we have been pleasantly surprised with the reception to classic movies, and classic British films, things that maybe that we didn't even think that there was an audience for. But I guess, someone saw it on daytime, or, like UHF probably in 1960 somewhere. So they remember the film, or, maybe theaters that were showing older films throughout the years and stuff. But we're happy that all this is coming out.
And they're usually great releases. This has a brand new 4K restoration.
Yeah, Studio Canal does a great, solid, consistent work. So I'm more power to them. There's, of course, one title we're all waiting for from them, but we'll keep waiting.
They're even paying for new extras for these. We got some conversations and interviews and stuff. They're also putting out at the same time No Trees in the Street from 1959, related to that last film. Again, another new 4K restoration, all coming on the same day, August 5th, with a bunch of new features on this. Seems like a really easy 1-2 pickup at Orbit for me.
Question.
And hey, we've got Herbert Long, so you can't go wrong with that.
Are both of these region outside the Region 1, the Region A?
They will likely be Region B locked.
I could see that on the spine here, that they're going to be region locked. And I at this point, maybe it's a good time for me to confess something. Don't judge me. Well, okay, fine, judge me. I'm not region free yet. I've resisted it for the reason of it's a way of filtering. It's a way of stopping me from buying even far, far, far more than I already am. And I've already outgrown the shelf space. I already have too much, and it's not going to stop. That's just been one of my own, hurdles. But the next Blu-ray player I buy, I think will have to be. I'm not going to be able to resist anymore, because stuff like this is happening, and these look outstanding to me.
On top of that, we kind of just saw the perfect example of why it's kind of necessary. I mean, if you wanted to see Wolf Creek in HD before this, which it came out almost 20 years ago now, you had to buy a Region B disc. If you wanted to see Hannibal Rising on Blu-ray, you had to buy a Region B disc. And actually, I think the Hannibal one was region free. But with places like Orbit, for the most part, you're getting, especially just thinking about how much you save on out-of-print stuff. Marc can bring things in from the UK that's in print there, that's out of print in the States, and you're saving sometimes like $70 for what you'd pay on eBay. And then
it's also like a lot of the same transfers are much cheaper in Britain than they are here. We use that as a selling feature at first. Said you'll save money, but after a while we're like going, who are we kidding? You're gonna spend way much more money buying all this stuff. So it's
exactly. It's like, how many boxes of junk shows up on the porch where I'm just kind of like, I gotta sneak that in, I mean, it would just be more of that. Like I said, I've got a, wife and 4 kids here, and mountains and stacks. I mean, just off frame here, stacks and stacks and stacks of physical media, Blu-rays. And, this has been a way of slightly suppressing that. But I appreciate the pile on, guys. Thanks.
I'm trying to talk you out of it.
Yeah. Oh, you are? Wait a minute. The guy who sells these for a living is trying to talk me out of it?
Oops.
Wow. Okay.
It's worked with everybody else. I mean,
yes. Well, okay. Well, the time will come when it's right for me, and I will pull the trigger and do it. And then, my kids' inheritance will be Blu-rays, and my wife will maybe not be happy. But anyway, I'll have region-free stuff, or region lock. What am I saying? Region B or whatever. Yeah,
region lock titles that nobody else can watch.
Region lock titles that we can't watch here unless. Okay, I'm shutting up now. What else you got, Ryan?
I got one of the most anticipated films of the year. Neon and Decal have already announced that they're putting out Longlegs on a 4K and Blu-ray release on September 10th. So if you don't get to see it when it comes out in the theaters in literally like 10 days, you'll get a chance to see it in September on disc. And I'm sure it'll be digital by then. But I'm dying to see this movie. Are you guys excited for this? Is this one that's up your alley?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but what I'm hearing is it's one of the best releases this year. So, at least hyped, So we'll see what happens.
That's where I'm at. I'm tempted to head over to Alamo Drafthouse and check it out while it's there, just because it does have buzz. But that said, that'd be why I'm seeing it. They did not show it in advance to critics.
Well, it's already showed in LA.
Right. Yeah, no critic screenings in St. Louis.
Blackcoat's Daughter. Did either of you see that? That's the same director, Osgood Perkins.
Nope.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was, it didn't blow me away, but it was fun.
I agree. Really like that one. Next is the Paramount show Knuckles, that was only on Paramount Plus, is getting a physical media release, which is kind of surprising, but I guess the Sonic franchise makes them a shit ton of money. So what they're doing is they're releasing it as a Blu-ray Steelbook and a standard Blu-ray release. But if you want it on 4K, you can only get it in a made-on-demand standard 4K release, not in the Steelbook.
Is that a Game of Thrones joke on the back cover of this Knuckles packaging?
Oh, absolutely it is, yes.
Yeah,
what the heck? Okay, all right. Well,
so yeah, gotta love how they're fractioning that off to everybody.
Yeah. If you like video games and you like Sonic the Hedgehog and you like Game of Thrones parodies, this release is for you.
I'm wondering now how many people will buy the Steelbook and then buy the 4K and then put the 4K disc in the Blu-ray Steelbook.
It will happen.
It will happen.
That shouldn't be allowed. I'm sorry. That's like crazy talk.
Throw the Blu-ray away.
Yeah.
Buy multiple copies of Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles. Right. That's right. Give a copy to your mom.
Yeah. As a physical store that also sells video games, bring it. I mean, give me more stuff like this. This is great.
Yeah,
so.
It's good for business.
And the movies, the movies were fun as hell.
They are. I'm kind of excited to see the third one. Mm-hmm. Next up is that last Walmart Steelbook. That is the other Texas Chainsaw movie, Leatherface, from 2017. This is just getting added to that line. Same date, August 20th. Same Blu-ray, same Steelbook, same everything. Just another one. I'll continue on.
Wait.
Next Severance. Oh,
that cover. I'm sorry.
I just ruined that. Yeah.
Okay. No. That cow. What the hell? Look at that. It's like it's a cow that's head exploded. Its brain is out, and this guy has a gun, and it's inside the brain.
Yes.
The cover of this Leatherface Steelbook. This is going to be on the shelf at Walmart.
It sure is. For
the Walmart Middle America. Salt of the earth Walmart crowd to just peruse. This will be right there.
The same Walmart that made them change the title of Satanic Panic to Panic so that they could put it on their shelves.
I was working in my rental store one day, and this older lady comes in, and she goes, "My grandson really loves Michael Myers. You got any Halloween films?" And I was like, "Well, sure." She goes, "Do they have breasts?" I'm like going, what are you talking about? And like, she goes, "Is there any nudity?" I said, "Well, sometimes." She goes, "Well, we don't let him see that." And that is middle America, or just Americans in a nutshell.
Here we are.
Knives through whatever body part is fine, but you can't have a shower scene. That's basically.
What if a knife is stabbing breasts? Is that
Well,
okay,
I
or is
mean,
that too-
that's an enigma that might heads explode. I don't know.
I know. It looks just like this poor cow. This
Are,
poor
are,
When
cow.
it stabs the breast,
they covering
does
part of
that-
the screen, when it's happening. It's like, okay, you can watch the knife part, but not the breast part. So
the
cow
big
doesn't have
question
nipples.
when it stabs the breast is, does it hide the nipple? That's all you have to know. If it does, then it's fine.
That's it, yeah.
D. Sibner, the cow does have nipples, but it's probably on the back of the thing, which we don't get to see.
What an utterly disgusting joke.
Oh, Zowie! Okay.
Right.
Next up,
one.
the next Severin title is The Mad Bomber from 1973, and I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I've not seen this one, heard it's great. All new 4K scan. We've got an audio commentary by Kayla Janice with retired bomb squad detective Mike Digby. What a wild commentary to announce. We got an audio interview with the director Bert I. Gordon. David Del Valle is the one that did that interview. Cynthia McAdams Cynthia McAdams is interviewed on this. Patricia Gordon remembers her father on this. There's a locations featurette and a TV cut. That's pretty cool. I've not seen this one. Either of you?
I haven't.
I want to say this came out on VHS under a different title. I remember that cast together before. But
yeah.
Maybe
The Police Connection or Detective Geronimo.
Police Connection rings a bell. It does. If I've seen it, it's been so long ago, I can't remember too much about it.
I'm fascinated that this is a Bert I. Gordon film, albeit from maybe, I don't know what they say. Bert I. Gordon, Mr. B.I.G., Mr. Big, because he worked in Scale, Village of the Giants, and all this sort of thing. The man never met a gaudy matte shot visual effect that he didn't love. Does this movie have gaudy matte shots? It doesn't. The cover art is not screaming that to me. This looks like a Bert I. Gordon in a different gear.
You can't see it, but that third window on the right there, he's actually 84 feet tall as he's holding that woman.
Reading the plot synopsis, I have seen this. It was under a different title, but at the time, I probably just moved on to the next film at the video rental store after seeing this one. But yeah, I'll watch it again.
And it's got Chuck Connors. Very, very eager to see this one.
Oh, Devil Brand too.
Yeah.
August 27th, Kino is releasing The White Dawn from 1974 with Warren Oates and Lou Gossett. This one is going to have an audio commentary by Philip Kaufman, introduction by Philip Kaufman, a Welcoming the Dawn featurette, The World of the Inuit featurette, and that is it. But I know nothing about this title. I don't think I'd ever heard of it before this.
I'd review it if they sent me a copy, but I don't know anything about it right now. Is this a Philip Kaufman film? I can't tell.
Director Phil Kaufman. Yeah.
Directed by Phil Kaufman. Okay. And, but anything with Warren Oates is usually worth watching just for him. He's one of these great presences in movies from the 70s and thereabouts. He is... like the name Warren Oates will pique my interest just because he is, so cool in the movies. Like Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, man, my favorite Sam Peckinpah movie. I don't know how this would compare to that, but The White Dawn is this one, and interesting. It's got polar bears.
It does. And this alternate cover is really desolate.
What the heck is going on there? It's a whole lot of nothing. That's people walking through the snow.
It's true. Eureka had their announcements today. September 23rd is this first one. This is The Champions from 1983. This is a rather obscure Golden Harvest title. We're going to get audio commentaries on this by Frank Jang. Another one by Mike Leader and Arna Venema, all of which have been on the channel before. Check them out. New interview with Andrew Heskins about this. New featurette by CFK, who has also been on the channel. They're looking at the 1987 Hong Kong celebrity football and soccer team that featured a number of Hong Kong legends, including Jackie Chan and Andy Lau. I'd never seen this one since it's been a little difficult to see, but man, they got a really great lineup for this month.
Sounds cool. Looks like somebody on the cover here fell into a big thing of bubble gum. There's like a pink splatter under this guy, and his head is enormous. Is that his actual head size? Because
I don't think so, but maybe the fact that they're all posing in front of the French flag helps with that.
Oh, that does help. Yeah, I have a large head myself, and I feel badly because it's hard to find a hat. That said, I don't know anything else about this movie. Looks fun.
Moving to their next one, which is Two Taoist Tales. This is also coming out September 23rd on Blue, and this is going to include the Taoism Drunkard and Young Taoism Fighter. And this one will also have audio commentaries from Frank Jang on both films, audio commentaries by Mike Leader and Arna Venema again on both films, new interview with Yun Chung Yan, new interview with the critic Andrew Heskins again, and a booklet with new writing by Southeast Asian horror expert Dr. Katarzyna. I, again, had not heard of these ones. Eureka is getting some nice, obscure titles to put out, though.
Lots of martial arts. And is this, would I be able to play this on my region-locked American player? Is this one of those Eureka titles that it is not? Everyone's shaking their head no. All right, moving on. Dang it.
They have started releasing films in the U.S., though. They're not mashed up from Arrow, like Arrow does. Like US.
I got Cat and Canary.
Yeah.
Cat and Canary I have.
Mm-hmm. This next one is maybe the most exciting title from them this month, though. And that is this complete crime serials from 1913 to 1918 of Louis Fiat, or I'd never say that name right, but I hope that's close. This says, an early cinematic pioneer with an undeniably pervasive influence. Louis made hundreds of films in a short career spanning only a few decades. Today, he is best remembered for his landmark serials, Fantomas, Les Vampires, Judix and Timin, I can't speak French, 4 crime epics that have had an immeasurable impact on popular culture around the world. And this is just going to be an amazing release from them. This is a limited edition hard case box set. It includes all 4 serials across 10 Blu-ray discs, all presented in 1080p from a new 4K restoration. We've got new commentaries on select serial chapters, new interviews with film critics and historians, a collector's booklet with new and archival writing. This looks pretty brilliant.
That looks
I think we were discussing this today. It's like, is this Eureka's first big box set? I'm trying to think.
It's not their first, because they did the late Mizoguchi a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since they've done one of these.
A long time. Yeah, we all perked up when we saw this announcement. This looks absolutely fantastic, and this could be a top of the year for me. Just knowing the quality that Eureka has already, I can't wait. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, old silent serials from France, super cool. Just. I haven't seen the entire Le Vampire, if that's how it's pronounced, but I do believe that it's true that the cat suit we see the girl wearing here is only worn briefly in one of the episodes of the 13-part series. So if you're shallow and are considering this, substantial purchase on the grounds of silent femme fatale girl in a cat suit, just know there ain't that much of it. But that said, these are all worthy titles aside from that.
Yeah, heard nothing but great things about this set. Love me some silence. Eager to see this. Then out of nowhere, even though they announced this a couple years ago, Synapse today said, hey, Blue Sunshine on 4K is ready and shipping now. This is from 1977. This has a 4K disc, a Blu-ray disc, and a CD soundtrack, strictly limited to 4,000 copies, but it's Synapse, which means they'll most likely do a standard the moment this sells out. This is going to have all kinds of stuff featuring Jeff Lieberman on here, 2 commentaries, new intro to the film, a 2003 interview, Lieberman on Lieberman featurette. interview with Mick Garris and Jeff Lieberman at the Fantasia International Film Festival. There's two AGFA. AGFA handed them two of their anti-drug scare films. You got LSD 25 and LSD Insight or Insanity. And we've got a commentary on the uncut version of Lieberman's first film, The Ringer, by Jeff Lieberman and Howard S. Berger. And then liner notes, all done by Lieberman. So basically, Jeff Lieberman handed this entire release over to Synapse himself. This looks like a solid release. Great movie. This movie has been released before on Blu-ray, and this is a big deal. How do you guys feel about this?
I want it.
Great, yeah, big fan of this film.
Looks good.
You can get it direct from Synapse or Diabolic DVD. I would check it out. Although it is $50.
What?
$50.
All right, I guess I have to save up for it.
Then,
go mow some lawns or something.
Today is the launch of the newest Kino Lorber sale, spring into summer. This has over 700 titles, free shipping over $50. It will end on Monday, July 22nd, so you got plenty of time. Although, don't forget, if you're one of those slipcover diehards, some of those will sell out quickly.
And sometimes certain titles will go the first day. I somehow missed this. I usually put in an order, to get to the free $50 shipping threshold, if that's still the threshold. Yes, it is. I see that on here. Free shipping, USA shipping is $50 or more.
Yep.
Somehow I missed this announcement today, so I will be seeing you fellas later. I'm gonna go do some shopping from the company that's treated ZekeFilm.org so well, Kino Lorber.
Well, not to make anybody feel jealous or like they missed out on anything. I haven't checked the stock counts, but wanted to highlight Hamilton Book again this week. Monday night of this week, they posted their monthly. Every 4 weeks, they post like a brand new set of titles, and this time they got a ton of Kino Lorber titles. Many of them were cheaper than the sale prices, even as low as $5. If you're going to make a Kino purchase, you may want to go check that out. There might be some on there that you're after, and it's looking good. And I will say the Hamilton Books site and the Kino Lorber site both stuttered from their popularity this week. Both had major server problems.
I love Hamilton Books, but yeah, that night was not fun. Because, it's like I was trying to get on there and finally I gave up. Around 4 a.m., my dog woke me up. So I went and checked. And of course, then it was active. And then I had to go through the process of narrowing down my cart from the 20 things I threw in, just perusing the sale. It was a great amount of stuff that they had available. A lot of it, Ryan, by now is gone, though.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, they only had 2 or 3 or 4 copies of some of those. And so a lot of it is just gone now, unfortunately. And people like me, we weren't there when the site came right back up, and we just missed out on certain things. But, that's okay. That's life. Life goes on.
And there's always another Kino sale around the corner.
Correcto. And here it is.
There's been a lot of people asking what film this picture is from today. A lot of people did not recognize it. This is Rent-A-Cop that they put out in the last year. So if you were, oh man, what is this? Rent-A-Cop is the title that you're after.
Well, that's a Burt Reynolds movie, and that's not Burt Reynolds. So the next question
is kind of weird that they went with it.
Who the heck is that guy?
That's that one dude.
Oh, sure. Oh, of course. All right, that one dude. Thank you.
Moving right along, Totem was announced today as the next Janus Contemporaries title coming out from Criterion. This is a 2023 film releasing on Blu-ray and DVD on September 10th. And as usual, we're going to have a trailer and a Meet the Filmmaker interview with the director, and that is it. But this film sounds pretty good. It says, in a bustling Mexican household, 7-year-old Sol is swept up in the whirlwind of preparations for her terminally ill father's birthday party, led by her mother, aunts, and other relatives. As the day builds to an event both anticipated and dreaded, Sol and her family begin to understand the gravity of this year's celebration. Lila Aviles directs a dynamic ensemble cast with this stunning sophomore effort, a warmly observed, poignantly funny, and emotionally expensive study of expansive, not expensive. Emotionally expansive study of the ways we cope with grief. Yeah, this sounds good. This sounds really good.
I'm not familiar with this film, but yeah, it does sound quite good.
Janus Contemporaries. I'm really glad that they started this new line, and we're getting some modern films that are underseen. A lot of these so far have been like film festival favorites that wouldn't have gotten releases, but maybe from like Mubi in the UK. And so just to get more eyes on it, and then these come out from the Criterion sale for $15. That's a pretty great deal.
Yeah, the price point's really good on these, so that's great. It's great.
You know, I don't know if this is too much of an industry secret, Mark. I've had a few people ask me for places like Orbit. The price that you guys get charged, from what I've heard, is higher than that $15 sale price. Do you stock up during some of these sales at the $15 price point to save some cash?
Maybe earlier days I did, but we're just too busy now to even bother with that.
Can't chase it. Yeah.
And we've worked out some really good deals with, we ordered direct from Criterion and Kino, and ordered direct from a lot of places now. So we're getting the best deals that they're willing to give. I don't let lower prices worry me like that. Because, we have an established customer base. They buy from us for a reason.
Yeah.
And ultimately I find out it evens out. It's like we're you always have to look at Amazon, and we see a lot of times that we're cheaper than Amazon.
Yep.
It's like I said, it all evens out there.
Well, the bigger reason for me, which a lot of people in the chat already know this, but just in case you've somehow never bought from Orbit DVD, which first of all, how could you? But second of all, one of the biggest things is Amazon nowadays is delaying everything. Like most people aren't getting releases, not even just not on day one, but for weeks and weeks after release. Most of the time with Orbit, you'll get it before the release date. And that's kind of hard to argue with.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's not doing themselves any favors at all with this. Did they even care about physical media anymore? I think they begrudgingly do it. I don't know. It's like just do the studios favors to get streaming rights. I don't know. Like one by one, we have won people over, and they can keep screwing things up all they want, as far as I'm concerned. So. It's funny, you mentioned Diabolic and whatnot. We've all talked, like, me, Mike, and Jesse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we all are in agreement. Actually, Mike is from Grindhouse is just 2 hours away from me. He's in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we try to see each other when I'm in town and stuff sometimes. But, we're all in agreement that, like, the real competition out there is the corporate places. That's really who we consider to be, the ones that we were trying to take the business away from out there. It's been an interesting, it's big enough for all of us, I guess. But it's right. As people get more bent Steelbooks from Amazon, or you hear about Zavi's customer service, things like that. It's just it's just interesting to see how it's evolved out there. Now then, going back to your original question, if I do see a good deal somewhere and I have time, yeah, I'll probably pick some stuff up, and then we'll, like, sometimes we will get stuff at full price, like we picked up some limited umbrella sets just on a whim, really, because we get asked so much for them.
Yeah.
And, like the customer saves on shipping, right. Like, so they are saving money ultimately. But earlier days, I used to just scour the internet, like looking for anything, and I would get, a Shout would have a sale, or, something like that. I would get as much as I possibly could. But yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
We'll go one more orbit question before we go. I think we got 3 more announcements left. Humboldt Horror Honey wants to know, will you ever carry stuff from Le Chat Coiffure in France? I know, I think a lot of their titles are not English friendly.
And that's it. That's it. Yeah, we a lot of times we want to carry this stuff. We have access to it actually. Is just the fact that like they're not bothering with the English speaking market, so they're subtitled in either German or French or Italy, Italian or whatever. That happens a lot with German titles as well. Like say, oh cool, Martyrs on 4K or something, and it's like, well, we can't unless you know French or German or Italian, you're not going to be able to understand the film. So we can look at them again. We have looked at them in the past. I have a pretty incredible coworker that it makes it her mission to find everything, and she is literally scouring the planet looking for, the most obscure releases out there sometimes. And we have approached, many companies directly, and if we're not carrying something, let's just say that there's either an issue like a subtitle issue or a dubbing issue, or they're just not responding to us, and that happens a lot too. But less and less. But we can look again if there's any English friendly titles out there. We can probably pick them up.
Yeah, I think they've done like 5 or 6 that were English friendly, and that is it from their entire catalog. Which is, they've done a lot. They do really good work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We keep sort of half an eye on them, and they always pop out something that really blows us away, and then we look and it's like,
At least you're trying.
We're trying. Yeah.
All right, couple left. Speaking of Altered Innocence, like I mentioned earlier, You Are Not Alone is their next announcement. This is coming on September 10th on Blu-ray and DVD. This does not appear to have a slipcover release coming. You can already pre-order this from places like Diabolic DVD. Is this up on your site yet? Do you know, Mark?
It will be. We do carry, after Altered Innocence splintered off, we are still carrying their product.
Yep.
And the fact that Ozone collection is doing very well. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks to be a little light for Altered Innocence. Usually they've got a bunch of special features, but they don't have much on this. It looks to be like one that they couldn't do very much for, so they're not putting as much as they can into the slipcover and all that other stuff. But I've heard this is a really great film. Very, very curious to see this. Although this did have a Blu-ray release prior. So
yeah. I want to say I have seen this previously somewhere else. So yeah, maybe I was confusing titles.
Could be.
Yeah.
And such a
next one. Oh, go ahead.
Such a memorable cover on that one.
It is.
Yeah. It actually does look quite nice. It looks like a painting, but just at a glance, it does look like a kind of, throwaway candid shot.
Yeah. Stan says it's a lovely film. I will have to check it out.
Yeah.
Succession, the TV show, is getting a full complete series mod Blu-ray release from Warner Brothers. That's coming on August 13th. You can pre-order this now. You've got all 39 episodes of the show. You've got 20 hours of bonus features, including some character recaps, some cast and crew interviews, and more. I have not watched any of this yet, but it is on my list to watch soon because I hear it's amazing. Gonna definitely check this out.
Haven't seen a second of it, but everybody says it's great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'll buy it.
I can't commit to TV shows. I mean, even a great one, like 2 or 3 seasons in, I'm done.
Unless they're baking.
What's that?
Unless they're baking.
Yes. I liked like Eastbound and Down I could handle because it was like just literally it was like 12 episodes per season, right? For 4 seasons, So
I know the set decorator on that one. Yeah, nice. They said it was an adventure making that series.
I bet that was a hell of a lot. I mean, for a lot of people, it seemed like it's a hell of a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah.
Then another show, Vikings of Valhalla Season 1 is getting a Blu-ray release on August 27th. You've got all 8 episodes of this one with, it appears to be, no special features. This one is still coming out. You've got the 3rd and final season premiering on Netflix on July 11th. of this year. And then finally, oh, go ahead, Jim.
No, I'm just saying Vikings Valhalla. That's my 18-year-old son's department. All things Viking, Nordic mythology, Dungeons and Dragons, adjacent, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably watched this already, so I'll pass.
And then finally, BBC is putting out one of their nature documentaries narrated by Sir David Attenborough, Mammals, Born to Survive, Built to Thrive. This is coming on Blu-ray on August 27th, which is kind of wild. The BBC documentaries have been coming out in 4K. It's kind of weird to not do this one in 4K.
Yeah, what's the deal?
I would be interested in seeing it. They always do pretty incredible work.
It's mammals. Mammals deserve to be in 4K. I think this is the one. Is this streaming? Because my 16-year-old daughter and her boyfriend were watching one of these BBC nature things the other night, and it's just like, seriously? I mean, they're good, they're well done, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like it wouldn't have occurred to me to have this be the go-to stuff when you're 16 and you've got your your snuggly poo with you. Anyway, mammals.
Mammals.
Yeah, mammals. Bring it. Hey, we're talking about mammals, Mark. You just got back.
Oh,
yeah, mammals.
Big fan of mammals. Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Mammals in general. I haven't seen the show, but
yes, the show Mammals. It's no Succession, but mammals.
The title from Deaf Crocodile that we've been hearing about for a while, King Stack, that is releasing tomorrow from Diabolic DVD. If you want the deluxe edition, it'll be available everywhere else soon as well. So check that out. The last thing isn't really an announcement, but it is coming up on that time where we talk about Vinegar Syndrome Summer Subscriber Week. And I wanted to highlight these because it is starting before our next show next week. The big one is that we are getting brand new titles every single day for a week starting on Monday. Monday, we get 3 Vinegar Syndrome titles, 14 partner label titles. Tuesday, a new Cinematograph title. Wednesday, a new VSP. Thursday, there's some new merch. Friday, a Degausser video title. Saturday, a VSA. And Sunday, a VSL. How do you feel about that, Mark? You buried your head there for a second.
I love them. Vinegar Syndrome is really the first company that started working with us, even before we went online. However, I'll have to sit by the computer on the first, second, third, and fourth to make sure we're not missing anything. I was right. Driving home from the beach, and we missed out on the slipcover of the intermission. Hey, folks, it's intermission time release, which I really wanted. I have it right now. I used to have all the Something Weird tapes, but anyway, it's like you as a customer from their website, you have to be there when it drops. I have to be there when it drops, so it's like, which I love it. It's an even playing field, really. But I'm excited. They keep surprising me every single month about what they're putting out. So,
as usual, this is the last chance to become a subscriber for any time in 2024 for Vinegar Syndrome. There's a brand new refresh section of deals and discounted items, including you get 5 times their rewards points next week for shopping during that time. And they did something new this time. If you spend over $20 every single day, you'll get a bonus 700 points for their reward system, which, man, they're really trying to get you here.
They're just so blatant about just wanting our money. I mean, yeah, all these businesses want our money, but man, this is next level, isn't it? Oh my gosh. And it's Vinegar Syndrome. What are you going to do? These subscriber week sales are also some favorite things of mine. Aside from the weekly Reconnected podcast, these things, when they start doing these at noon, 12:01, 11 o'clock our time, they drop these these deals every day, and I find myself, kind of scheduling my day around it, because it's like, man, it's like, what's today going to be? And next thing I know, I've got a box of crap on the way. It's like, what did I do? I just bought all these things sight unseen, because they're $12 or $15 or whatever. And I have a blast with it. And by the time we get to Sunday, and then the next Monday comes around, I've kind of gotten used to it, and it feels like something's missing in my day now. Something's missing,
It's called an addiction, Jim.
The serotonin has left you.
You had to go there.
You need more.
For people that were going to have questions about this, a couple things that we should say. You don't have to be a subscriber to get the deals. Anybody can get those.
I've never
Jim
been
was just talking about.
Never been a subscriber yet.
If you do want to become a subscriber, for the rest of the year, the subscription cost is $475. If you want the standard shipping, $535 for the deluxe shipping, which I believe is just FedEx shipping. That's the deluxe. If you're in Canada, it is $535. If you're international, it is $575. And you can subscribe at any point during the week. You can add your order throughout the week. There's going to be all of those drops that I said every single day, and then they will begin shipping all those orders in mid-July-ish. I know that there's still some people that still haven't got their sale order from May. It'll happen. They're still shipping stuff. It'll come.
They always come through.
Yeah.
It takes a while, but it's worth the wait.
Vinegar Syndrome seems... I took it down. Vinegar Syndrome seems huge, but they're still a fairly small company in the grand scheme of things. They're certainly not Amazon.
No. But they're also not Golden Ninja. I mean, they got people working in there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I took a tour of the in Connecticut, and they're working.
They're working. They got all kinds of things.
They're hustling.
Yeah.
As always, before we go through our film discussion, we talk about what's coming out next week. In case you forgot, we got that Taxi Driver Steelbook that Marc brought up at the beginning, Anchorman 4K, that Pat Garrett that Marc showed us, UHF 4K, the Guyver 4K, some Kino 4Ks with Narrow Margin and Blown Away, Point Break 4K goes wide, Who's That Girl with Madonna from Shout Select. We've got a Natural Born Killers 4K steel going wide as well, some Lionsgate Steelbooks dropping at Walmart. We've got Filmmasters doing Under Western Stars and Kentucky Rifle, like we talked about just last week. Kidnapped from Cohen Media, that really odd Cocaine Bear Steelbook, and that is it.
Well, who's putting out the 4K of Rescue from Gilligan's Island?
I wasn't mentioning that because it's literally somebody in their garage doing it.
Oh, of course. Well, it made the cut on your graphic, so
I didn't make the graphic. This is Blu-ray.com.
Oh, this is Blu-ray now. Okay, my mistake. Moving on then, because Escape from Gilligan's Island or whatever is got to be that was on TV, right? Was that ever possible? Anyway, I don't know.
It might have been on VHS at one point too.
It's a head scratcher.
Yeah,
it's a head scratcher. I remember watching it as a kid and thinking, this movie's bad. And back then I had no discernment. So it must be truly bad. But, will 4K help it out of someone's garage? We'll see.
Marc, you're already shipping a bunch of these. Any of these that you're extra excited about other than Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid?
Well, just to get past Taxi Driver, for sure. Guyver, we've already shipped that one. That's a good release. It's interesting to see. I don't know if people are grumbling with Shout Factory about re-releasing the 4Ks and Steelbooks, but I think it's a different crowd, different audience. So I understand why they're doing that completely. The Anchorman's interesting because there's a way more deluxe version coming out in the UK in the next month or two, I think. So it's interesting to see when there's two countries are releasing the same thing from the same company at different times, and they're different editions. We ran across that with Chinatown a couple weeks ago. So just mainly Taxi Driver, just for logistics. I think it'll be a busy day the next couple of days. Yeah. So
Well, and the other busy thing to talk about, it's sale day. You just launched a sale today. You want to share that with everybody?
Yeah. So we're doing a sale. Ends on Sunday. It's 30% off select products from Blue Underground, Fun City Editions, and VCI. So two of these companies I really haven't seen, many sales for. So we thought we'd try it. Blue Underground, of course, we've done them before, and everybody else has as well. It doesn't include brand new products. So everybody, of course, was asking about Death Dream 4K.
Of course.
So that's not part of it. But pretty much everything but Fun City. I think there's a brand new release from them that's not part of the sale, but everything else is fair game with them. And going really well so far. Yeah, really happy with that. And then we're lining up more sales for the next 2 or 3 months, including, and I want to jinx this, I'm not going to mention any names yet, but we're going to do our first ever UK product use sale.
Oh, wow.
We think they approached us, and people will be very happy. But we think we've worked out the shipping and the logistics and things like that to where we all will be happy with this. And I'm hoping if this works, we can approach more companies over there to do the same thing. So once again, nothing's finalized, but both sides, us and the other company, are extremely. We want to make this happen. So we'll do that.
Should I be looking forward to this with my region locked player or
with your brand new player? Yeah, I don't know if you have a birthday coming up. You might want to ask for one. It's
well, I'm excited on behalf of everyone else who gets
you'll live vicariously through the rest of us. Yeah,
that's believe it, man. You better believe it. Yeah.
Right. And then there's other companies that there's maybe one. It's been great. I think as we grow, we've been good partners with a lot of these companies, and they want to work with us and having sales and things like that. So we're hoping to have more. I like being married though. My wife is pretty much the head shipper, and there's some ground rules with these things. So we can't get too crazy. The one we had last year about killed me almost physically, but that sale, it was 6 companies and it lasted 10 days. We're not going to do that.
I did that. I was part of the problem then.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of us have realized, these faster weekend sales are really the way to go. I mean, because most of these things are just done. They're one and done on the first day anyway. It just sort of lingers, and then the last day picks up. But it's like, well, why do it for 10 days? We can just do it for 4 or 3 or 5 or whatever. So. This sale is great. We sort of snuck it up on everybody, I think, a little bit, and it's been going really well so far.
There's some good titles in there. Everybody check it out.
And it's a great, I love these things because a lot of people that are just getting into this, and we are picking up thousands of people that are just getting into this hobby. They're able to go back and affordably pick up catalog titles that they've missed out on. So
yeah. I've got a question while you're here, Marc. I'd be kicking myself if I didn't bring this up. Your Orbit DVD stickers that show up in the boxes.
Yeah.
These, I am an avid fan of these stickers. I have a down in my bedroom, I have a bookcase on my side of the bed, sticker wall, of all the stickers I get for free. And there's a number of Orbit DVD stickers now prominently on there amid all the Severin and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And the rules are as long as it's a sticker that I get for free, it goes up, and it's quite the art exhibit. We've got the Army of Darkness with Ernest on it.
Yeah, amazing.
That's one of your great stickers. And then, of course, a Thriller, A Cruel Picture, Christina Lindbergh there. On this, you got a couple of those. And then, of course, the one that I have to carefully explain to my kids with the bundle of sticks on fire. That one is particularly clever. And what am I missing? What collectible Orbit stickers am I not?
Well, there's one with me as I wanted to do a riff on Volume 4 by Black Sabbath. So instead of Ozzy, if you know that iconic cover,
sure.
Ozzy's doing the peace sign. I'm holding up Vice Squad, and I forgot what the other one I was holding up. But so, anyways, I have that one. Yeah. The bundle of sticks is definitely a folk horror Wicker Man type thing, and that is created by we still call him an employee. He helps us with graphic design and web stuff, but
he's an employee.
Doing we just call that character the Orby. It's a TV normally, so there's like probably 4 or 5 different variations of Orby out there.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it then.
What's that?
Anyway, I said maybe I'm reading too much into it.
With your next order, feel free to leave a note. The shippers love it when you leave notes. Happy notes.
Happy notes.
Instead of like going, please pick the best quality slipcover you have. And we always do that. We will always pick the best one. It's like we're not like going, we're going to smudge this before we. But anyway, to say, hey, I got these stickers. I would love to get the rest of them, or can I have one of each? And they'd be happy to throw it in there for you. Someone just mentioned,
just stickers and no DVDs or Blu-rays.
Well, I mean that has happened. Yeah, that has
really
happened. Someone just mentioned one of our friends made a sort of a take on the Friday the 13th Part 4 cover, but it's a videotape.
I have that one.
Yeah, I get that one. Okay, yeah. My favorite though, which probably got some people took this the wrong way, is I made a barf bag, and we had an Orbit barf bag, and we sent probably 500 out. Most people got it. They understood what that was. It was heather red. It was just like the classic barf bag for horror movies, and like Mark of the Devil is the main one that they were ripping on.
Castle.
Yeah. But anyway, like this one guy messages us, and he's like going, "What's with this barf bag?" I'm like going, and I'm trying to explain to him the history of the gimmicks, theater gimmicks. He's like going, "Well, you sent that with this Bruce Lee box set." I'm like going. I said, cool your jets. This was just something funny to do. And I mentioned again what theaters did. I said, we are all huge fans of Bruce Lee, and this barf bag in no way, shape, or form reflects our own personal opinion about Bruce Lee.
There's not a commentary on whatever you bought, pal. It's
it's like
I don't know that would occur to me to be insulted.
People are now asking, like, I feel sorry for these poor suckers. Is Movies Unlimited still in business? Do you know? You know about that company? That's basically the old school mail-in company where they probably would take a check.
Yeah,
and, it's mostly classics and westerns and stuff. But anyway,
catalog.
These poor old guys want a printed catalog. They want me to send a printed catalog. So I'm thinking about this 32 pages of The Sinful Dwarf. I mean, I might make something, and so okay, buddy. This is all we got. We're your Sinful Dwarf warehouse, and we're here, please.
Yeah.
A catalog of different Orbit barf bags.
Hey. Barf bags are us. Yeah.
There's only 500 copies of that Gilligan's Island 4K.
I might be giving those away too. We'll see. I gotta order one. I forgot who put that out, but we're dying to see it. I would love an Orbit head shirts of the Orby. Yeah, and the plan is the next shirt we're doing is of Orby, Humble Horror Honey. We are going to do an Orby shirt. Hopefully the next couple months.
Cool.
There was one more question here. When you get restocks, do you tend to receive a generous number, or is it less so? Like, do you tend to see things sell out quickly again after being restocked?
Yeah, restocks. We try to, probably the most of the titles will have as a pre-order stock, and then we try to double that amount. So say, for example, I'm not saying that we're selling this many, but say we sell 1,000 pre-orders, we'll bring in 2,000 copies. So we'll have the amount for pre-orders, and we'll have plenty to put on the website. And then what you usually do, everybody does this, is you just ramp down.
Right.
Now then, there's lots of cases, especially with product that's limited release. So a good example is, the Planet of the Vampires. We knew about this one. We knew that this would be a real hot seller. We knew that there's kind of like a one and done thing. So we went to multiple suppliers and we just kept getting restock after restock after restock when lots of places were already sold out of it. So we enjoy chasing these limited edition sets that are going out of print. We did that with Hellraiser. We did that with pretty much everything. So like we want to be the last people to have this title, and a lot of times we are. Yeah. But the traditional business model is you bring in something new, you sell it down, maybe keep a couple copies, and then you move on to the next one. And there's nothing wrong with that business model at all. But we say, well, wait a minute, if we can get more, and I think maybe the two titles that made us were Second Sight and Arrow, but like the giant Dawn of the Dead set and then the giant Gamera set. Yeah. Very early on, we were doing online, and we just kept ordering them and ordering them and ordering them. And I would spend all night, multiple nights, just shipping those out. But we love doing that. I mean, it really gives us a thrill, to be honest. Yeah. But like we were still sitting on some stuff. We thought the UK Exorcist Steelbook would go bonkers. But like we're about out of it. But it took a long time. You just can't predict it. I mean, pre-orders you can kind of predict. You can kind of predict, what's going to happen, but a lot of times you just don't know. The Hitcher, Second Sight has been fantastic with us. I think we have a really good relationship with them. We've had zero problems with Second Sight. If you want the Hitcher, you'll have ample opportunity to pick one up. I think the pre-order I think will go fast, but that could possibly be the biggest title we'll ever carry, period.
Oh my.
And before that it was other Second Sight titles, it's been, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that. So like they don't seem to be playing a game where, like we're only going to make so much and that's it. They do have a limit, but they make sure they're making enough copies of it.
Right. Even that big Dawn of the Dead, it wasn't gone immediately. It was around for a little bit, and it seems like they're cognizant of how many people around the world are buying these. They're certainly not just doing this for the UK.
I am bummed to have missed that. That is one of the great regrets that I dragged my feet in the fat Dawn of the Dead thing. Man, that just.
Well, that's my number one seller. The standard edition Dawn of the Dead. Is my number one seller. We've only been out of it for maybe one time, for maybe 6 weeks or 2 months. And I told my buyer, I said, I want hundreds of copies in stock at all times, because you just don't know. Like they're never going to run out of it. But the production, they'll run out of a copy. They'll run out of copies. They'll have to make more. So there's usually a gap in time. We're seeing that right now with Synapse and Suspiria 4K. It's like, I think everybody's sold out of Suspiria, because that is another number one title that people are buying right now, and demand is so high, people run out of this stuff. So my goal is also to have hundreds of copies of Suspiria, but we haven't had a chance to jump on that yet. But it's like there's gimmies like the Hitcher, and we know what to get, and then there's titles that we underbought, and there's titles that we've overbought. It's just business, basically.
That's retail.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of titles, it's probably time to talk about some specific films for at least a few minutes. We are going to be discussing one Francis Ford Coppola with Megalopolis coming out later this year. Got to ask, Jim, this was your main idea. Why lean into Francis Ford Coppola?
It's very, very simple, Ryan. One thing that I didn't mention at the top of the show that I do is give one-off talks to local retirees. We have an organization in St. Louis called Oasis St. Louis that is committed to providing educational seminars to keeping retirees sharp. So I, once or twice a month, go in and do these detailed talks about film history. And I pitch a topic and they say yes. And so I've got Francis Ford Coppola coming up. And, Coppola is interesting. He's a very, he's a one-of-a-kind figure in film history. And, the kind of, he's got this artistic side, but he's also, megalomaniacal, by all accounts, and somebody who is kind of at war with himself. So I've been just researching Francis Coppola, as my Letterboxd account will attest. Just Coppola movie after Coppola movie after Coppola movie this week and last week, and filling in a lot of gaps, and kind of realizing some things about the filmmaker that'll come up when I put my PowerPoint together and go talk to the retirees. And hopefully, he's George Lucas adjacent, of course, because he and Lucas worked together in American Zoetrope Volume 1 back in the day. And, one of them, you kind of can't have the success of one without the other. Lucas and Coppola, although the two men couldn't be more different. It's just fascinating when you go down the rabbit hole of American Zoetrope and Coppola. There's, I've studied Lucas ad nauseum, but Coppola, I realized I had a lot of gaps, so I pitched this talk, and they said yes, and that meant that's an excuse for me to deep dive on the movies. So, and while I'm in the middle of that, I was like, well, I might as well pitch here with Megalopolis coming up. It's topical, right?
Yeah.
So let's. Megalopolis is opening in October, hopefully in everyone's neck of the woods, and hopefully it's good, or at least interesting. That's why. Because
Mark seems to have a rant ready to go. So let's hear the rant.
It's going back talking to about those Star Wars movies I was talking about earlier, which is they've given Coppola the leeway to go back and remake or recut these films, and that's all fine and good. But I'm a believer of okay, you're going to do this like the last one. Well, one from the heart. Yeah, he went back and made it, and I don't believe the original version is on Studio Canal's disc. I think it's just a recut of the thing. This happened with Lionsgate and Twixt, which that film was okay, but it's now called Betwixt. He went back and redid that. He went back and redid. He went back, of course, famously Apocalypse Now. They was lauded for that.
Twice.
And that, twice. You're right. And that one, I think all versions. Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I don't know. I thought Betwixt was only his version of it, but I don't know. About it. Yeah, I don't know either. Someone just corrected me on that one, but
they might just be talking about one from the heart.
Well, it could be one from the heart. Right. I don't know if both Godfather 3s are available.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
I think they are, but the new version is on 4K, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's some films I think he has better control of that he just doesn't want the original version to come out. So, but it's also even if both versions are out, it's like I'm the firm believer of you made it, whatever happens, and maybe you should move on from that. So, but I'm not Coppola. It's I don't know. I don't know what drives him. Obviously, making films drives him. He sold everything to make this new movie. So,
multiple times.
I mean, it's probably his third time of just putting absolutely everything on the line, and that we know of. It could be more than that, but it bankrupted him once. It reaped him incredible rewards once. So I'm really interested to see this new film. It's going to look great, no doubt. But will it be a Gangs of New York or will it be an Apocalypse Now? It's who knows,
right?
Well,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm reading a book by Sam Wasson that's a relatively new one called Path to Paradise. Man, my dog is noisy. I'm sorry. She insisted on being in here, sitting over here, just being stupid, as one will, as a dog does. But I apologize for the dog noise. Anyhow, Sam Wasson's book, Paths of Paradise, is so elegantly written, but so wonderfully readable and researched. And it's not your standard biography book of a director. He starts right in on the making of Megalopolis, which, Coppola's been trying to make that since before Apocalypse Now. And then it lapses into Apocalypse Now, and it's like, hey, where's all the boring childhood stuff? So anyway, a recommendation for Path to Paradise if you're looking to read more on Francis Coppola. As we go through, people are listing off the ones waiting for Jack Redux. They say that Cotton Club is the recut is out on disc, I guess, and that's probably for the best.
I just saw a question. I would love to answer. What's your favorite cut of Apocalypse Now? I had this infamous 6-hour bootleg. I guess this is on VHS tape. It was an absolutely horrific condition.
VHS even. Wow.
Like the what to see was when Sheen's character starts going after Brando. There's way more shot and way more depraved, and I could see why that was all cut out, because it would just make Sheen look even more inhuman than they perhaps wanted him to look in the thing. But that was a really bizarre bootleg. It's back in the tape trading days of the 90s basically. But yeah, I think I watched it once, and I had to fast forward a lot of it. Just seen this before, and then it's like, oh, I haven't seen this part, so I'm gonna watch this. So technically, I watched it, I guess, but that was the most interesting. That the redo one, or Redux, I think how you pronounce it. Like, that was interesting to watch once, but a go-to for me is just going right back to the theatrical version. I think that moved fast enough for me to be my favorite cut of it.
There's a shout out for Peggy Sue Got Married. Yes, that's tough to see unless you rent it from Amazon to watch. It's not streaming as part of any subscription. And I can't find even a DVD. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spots, but anyway.
I mean, I enjoyed Tetro quite a bit. I forgot what gap of time there was before he made that.
09.
Was that? 9, yeah. But what was the film? Do you know what the film was he made before that? How long was
Youth Without Youth is 2007.
Okay, so he was still making films regularly, I guess. But
there was a gap before Youth Without Youth. There was a gap there for
like
about
a decade,
8 years.
right?
Yeah, nearly.
Okay.
Youth Without Youth was kind of return, and then he made all those smaller personal. You got your Youth Without Youth, you got your Tetro, you got your Twixt. And then he kind of goes dark a little bit until Megalopolis.
Right.
I mean, there's little things in there, but
right. Well, we're going to talk about 5 favorites tonight. As I've said many times, this doesn't mean we're saying they are the 5 best necessarily. They're just 5 of our favorites. We're not even necessarily needing to rank them. However, if you did, that's totally fine. Jim, this is your topic. Let's start with you. What is the number 5 that you want to say?
Well, my list is probably pretty boring and predictable. I made 2 lists. I made my best, my favorites, and then I made the most fascinating. So of my favorites, number 5 would be Rain People, which I just watched this morning. I've been meaning to watch this for years because of the George Lucas Coppola connections kind of solidified their early collaborations, which culminated in the THX 1138 feature film, which triggered the destruction of American Zoetrope and forced Coppola to go off and make movies for money. And that gave us The Godfather. So that only goes to show that having to sell out to the man and make a movie to pay off your debts isn't always the worst thing for cinephilia. It gave us The Godfather. But The Rain people I like. This is a heartbreaking movie with James Caan, Shirley Knight. It's a road picture, very small, very melancholy, lots of rain and dripping water everywhere. It's poetic, and it starts off slow, but man, by the end, it gets you. It gets you at the end. So I will be upgrading that to Blu-ray as soon as I can on account of that doggone jacket. The red part of James Caan's jacket on this, when watching it on this old Warner Archive DVD, the jacket pixelates. So we can't have that. I don't think that's what Coppola wanted, contrary to Mark's theory earlier in the show. That's
Wikipedia says it was meant to be there. So
yeah.
Oh, Wikipedia.
I already changed Wikipedia to include the pixelization.
One of these people in the comments section updated Wikipedia in the meantime between the beginning of the show and now, and it's already been canonized.
Perfect.
What's a fella to do?
What about you, Mark? What is the number 5 for you?
Kind of hard going. Not numbers. I would say just what I like is rewatchability, I suppose. And for me, it would probably be Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, I just love the techniques he was using to make that film. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was amazing, and it really resonated with me at the time. It felt like he was back, I guess, also, and then I guess Jack came out after that. I can't remember.
I think you might be right.
I think Jack was a follow-up to Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Or Rainmaker, something. I don't know.
So, yeah, Rainmaker might have been after that. Yeah, but that one, I love that one. I do. And I thought he was the perfect director for that film, for sure.
That's what, to me, Dracula, I know a lot of people love it and have a soft spot for it. I want to get on board with it, but to me, it's like Gangs of New York. There's something about it that I find weirdly unapproachable and kind of clunky, weirdly clunky, and I just need to get back. I have not, in my Copolla deep dive as of late for my talk that I'll be giving, I haven't rewatched Dracula yet. It's been probably a couple decades.
The casting choices were suspect for some of that. I mean, especially the studio's probably forcing him to hire, or cast younger, hotter actors out there. And I would say that, Oldman probably was not a household name in the U.S. I don't think he really had a breakthrough, but Dracula, I think, broke him through. I mean, I think
that may be it. Yeah.
He was the reason why that, one of the reasons why it's so successful, for sure. So, but Keanu Reeves was not right at all in there. No. But I was able to get through that.
It's a choice.
Also, the first time I think I ever saw Monica Bellucci too was in that.
There is that. I don't know. I mean, Keanu Reeves and Dracula. I mean, how does that compare to, say, Sofia Coppola in Godfather 3? I mean,
that is correct. Yeah,
it's got to be preferable, right?
Right.
One's one of the great miscastings of all time, and the other one's just Keanu Reeves stuck in something at the beginning of his career.
I'll be talking about Dracula again in a minute, but you say you haven't revisited it. I will say
I do.
That very recent Sony, I think it was a 4K Steelbook only, because Sony does this all the time, where they redid the Dolby Vision and then fixed the subtitles. That 4K disc looks immaculate. Everybody, if you've ever had an interest in that film, you got to see that 4K Steelbook. It looks gorgeous.
So I shouldn't buy the regular case 4K of Dracula. I should go for the Steelbook. Is that what you're saying?
Because yes, there was another 4K done later with the original subtitles where it had the Gothic print, and then they also added Dolby Vision to it.
Okay. Great to know that. Because like I said, I am well overdue for this. My experience with the film in the past is not great, but it's the distant past. So I will be getting back to that movie. I'll have to find that Steelbook. I hope it's not hard to find.
It's Sony. A lot of their stuff does not go out of print.
Sony does not. Stuff doesn't go out of print with Sony. It's just demand. Like infamously, Lawrence of Arabia 4K Steelbook leaps up to like $100, and then it comes back out again like a few months later. So it's just, Sony doesn't play the limited edition game at all. It's available.
Fantastic.
My list is probably going to be even more boring than both of these because I don't think I've seen any of the smaller films. It's mostly been the major blockbusters. The smallest one on my list.
There's a reason why, it's like they're great,
The smallest one for me is probably my number 5, which is The Outsiders. Grew up on this movie quite a bit. Love this one. Read the novel years and years ago. This is a movie that's oddly, I think, meant more as I got older. Especially one of the interesting things is moving to Kansas City, considering how close to where it was filmed and how different the world is here compared to living in the desert in California. Seeing like how much that was very accurate considering where it was filmed. The Outsiders is great and one of those timeless films that even though it's very much of a time, I feel like it's one that I can enjoy literally any single time it's put on. Love The Outsiders.
I love it as well. It's been too long since I've watched it. I did just pick up the 4K, but I haven't spun it yet. Is it my number 4? Are you done?
Go right ahead. Cycle around. Number 4.
The segue is great here because you're talking about where they filmed The Outsiders, which is Tulsa. They also filmed Rumblefish right after a two-week gap, and then right into Rumblefish. Another S.E. Hinton adaptation, very different, also with Matt Dillon in it. Criterion, of course, put out a fantastic edition of Rumblefish several years ago. That's my number 4, Rumblefish. What a movie this is. This is a strange movie. I can't say it works on every level that maybe it should work, but it's just so watchable and dreamy. It's like, this dreamy black and white. Coppola, some of his movies, particularly like, something like Twixt, you could kind of look at it and see him straining to show off his visual flair, whatever he's trying to do. Sometimes the visuals get quite heavy-handed and forced in his movies, but I'd prefer that to a just straight-ahead, boring-looking movie, which, oddly enough, Jack is. Jack won't be on my list, but I did
Mine
not,
either.
I did not hate Jack, you guys. I just watched Jack over the weekend for the first time. Did not hate it. I was dreading watching it, but I did not hate it. But anyway, Rumblefish is a kind of oniric, is that the word? The dream-like, surreal state. It's transportative. There's always like low-hanging fog billowing through the shots. It's just so tactile and rich. Mickey Rourke, who I've had the anti-pleasure of working on a film shoot with Mickey Rourke. Don't have great memories of that, but watching him act was a treat, and watching him, young Mickey Rourke in Rumblefish, is again a treat. He's great in it as the motorcycle boy. Just nails that performance, and it reminds us why Mickey Rourke was a big deal in the first place. My number 4, Rumblefish.
Good call. I still have not seen it. I need to see Rumblefish. Really.
Yeah, I dragged my feet on it too, and I most of these there's a lot of these I just watched this week, and that's one of them.
Well, here's the first repeat from my number 4, The Outsiders. I think some movies come along at the time in your life that make an impression, and I had read the book because I think it's like a rite of passage for middle school, basically classes to read the Hinton book. And I think the movie came out literally right after our class read the book. And it looked like to me, we didn't know most of the actors in that thing. And it felt like perfect casting. And of course, the entire cast blew up pretty much after that. So, it's been a while since I watched it again. I actually was going to maybe make that a tie with Rumblefish because sometimes in my memory, I confuse the two. It's like I think are they both Hinton books? I think
they are.
Yeah. So sometimes that muddled in my mind. But yeah, The Outsiders I think was perfect. I think it was, and just coming off fresh from the book and watching the movie, it's like, wow, this is great. So and that to me was one of the better, book adaptations actually, I think, and that showed me the promise of what could be done. And of course, I've been trying to chase that ever since with book adaptations. It seems like most of them are either great but not the book, or most of them are just terrible. So this is the way it is. But that's
very interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very interesting to hear Coppola on the I think the interview on the Rumblefish Criterion. There's a 2016 interview with Coppola talking about just how he felt trapped making The Outsiders. I think what he was trying to do is pay off the American Zoetrope Volume 2 or 2.0 that came crashing down after One from the Heart failed. So he had to make money, and pretty much every movie he made in the 80s was on some level for the money. Because he had massive debts again. So he was, hoping these teen movies, chasing the teen trend to a point, but still trying to, make an interesting movie for teenagers. He says, they're reading Gone with the Wind in The Outsiders. So therefore he made it kind of colorful and sweeping like Gone with the Wind, and he realized he was locked into this visual style that he himself was not fond of, and that's why the Black and White Rumblefish was such a breath of fresh air for him creatively. But I don't know, I love that that elegant, colorful look of Outsiders.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear him say that he felt trapped by it.
All right, my number 4 is maybe going to be the first one that people gasp about. My Godfather choice is going to be the first one, and I'm putting it all the way down here at number 4. And primarily, it's because I kind of agree with what Mark said. Is it's a lot about rewatchability, and although I can watch The Outsiders at any time, I feel like these other ones I get a little more out of, especially nowadays. But The Godfather is the one that on this list is just at the bottom of that list. Obviously, the first two are a masterpiece, and this is, I mean, The Godfather's been talked about to death. I don't need to say much. It's the fucking Godfather. Love it.
I thought you were going to say Godfather 3 went with that setup. It's like, people will be shocked. The
new cut of The Godfather 3.
Godfather Coda 3 is my 4th favorite Coppola film ever made. No, that is not true. Okay, unless it's smart.
No, it's great, obviously. Godfather Part 1. Go right ahead, sir.
Me. Well, it's also The Godfather. My number 3 is the first Godfather. I know people like to have it out over whether the first one or the second one's good. I kind of put, Godfather Plus on there. I do have a morbid fascination about the third one, but recognize that it is a far cry from 1 and 2. Unfortunately, Robert Duvall isn't in the third one. But man, I love the first one the most. That's just where I'm at. And maybe that'll change one day. I can reassess. But again, I'm with you. Enough has been said about The Godfather that I don't think I need to go on too much.
Yeah, I feel like now that I'm doing special features on some of these discs, if somebody said, hey, we would love someone's favorite to do a visual essay on The Godfather, I'd be like, no, like, what am I going to talk about?
One of the hardest things I did in the semi-recent years is write a review of Criterion Citizen Kane when that came out.
Right.
It's like, what? I adore this movie, and what on earth can I say? Critics say this all the time about things, but it's true.
Right.
You really do feel that. What can I add to this that hasn't been said? Well, I think I managed, but it was hard. It was really hard. Anyway. All
right, Mark, number 3 for you.
Yeah, number 3, this is where it gets really in it. I would say number 3 would be The Conversation. For me, I feel like it played into that 70s paranoia thing going down. Really good character study for Hackman, I think. I feel that, you know, it feels like a small film after Godfather, of course, and it just showed to me that, you know, this back, I saw it first when I was in college. We all were going, my roommates and I were going through a Coppola phase and watching, you know, all this stuff. And, you know, he said, wow, he made this after Godfather. You know, it's like, it seemed like it's a 180.
Yeah.
You know, but it showed just how masterful he was. You know, he can make something big. He can make something very small. And I appreciate for that. It's also, you know, Hackman was in his absolute zenith, I think, during that period too. And I think that had a lot to do with it as well. So great cast, you know, like Cindy Williams, I think, in there and whatnot. So
yeah, she's in that. Yeah.
Not to just me to this, but my number 3 is also The Conversation. And Harrison Ford is like, it's such a, I don't know, it's still the Harrison Ford for so many people. And this movie is, I can't wait for that 4K to come out. And
are they doing it? They're doing a 4K? Yeah. Oh, man.
Studio Canal.
In the UK, UK 4K. So.
No, we need it here.
now you can watch the 4K. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, us bumbling slobs. See, but the other thing is, UK, they have that British, you know, BFCA whatever branding on the packaging, and I don't like that. I think it's ugly. I prefer just
you guys. You hate the stop signs, you know. Yeah,
I don't think I'm that picky yet. I've loosened up about this. Believe me, I've loosened up about this. I used to be like, if it had that on it, I just wouldn't buy it. And now I've loosened up.
Well, you'll be happy to know that some companies actually make them peelable now, so you can actually peel the stop sign.
I like that. I know
that's true.
It's only there because it has to be.
Right.
Are we still talking about? Are you still have things?
I'm not having a conversation. We can go to your number 2.
My 2 is The Conversation as well, and let me just add to the conversation about The Conversation that it's one of the great films about loneliness that and fits into just this kind of urban paranoia with. I mean, there's things about that movie that are hard to put into words, like, you know, just the perfection of that clear rain jacket that Gene Hackman wears throughout the movie. Whose idea was that? It's perfect, and yet it's such a weird choice because you don't see that in movies. You know, things like that. It's just a spot-on movie in so many ways. Sound designer Walter Murch needs to be mentioned here too, because he's a genius. Coppola worked with him throughout his career, at least through Tetro. Murch famously went to USC with George Lucas and helped, you know, they were buddies in USC film school and then, you know, went on. Walter Murch did the sound design for American Graffiti, produced by Coppola, directed by Lucas, of course, and then the sound design for The Conversation, which is also in a very different way from the brilliant sound design of American Graffiti. It's also, you know, so the way it guides the ear to what's going on screen before it guides the eye. Before, you know, it's genius. It's such a great, wonderfully made movie that it's darn near number 1, but it's number 2 for me.
I'm glad you said paranoia. There's something special about the paranoia films in the 70s that are all.
It really is.
That's great. Yeah.
So magnificent. I mean, and what's crazy is they were all coming from this similar like angle, but they all feel so different when you watch them all.
A lot of them do.
Endlessly entertaining about them. It was just a great decade for them.
It's just zeitgeisty, you know. It's that post Vietnam or Vietnam's winding down, and you got your Watergate, and you got, you know, just a lot of things that everybody's, you know, pooped out from the 60s and all the, you know, the protest and the anger and it's like
the drugs.
Well, yeah, and it's like here it's time for you know, what's the next thing, and we're not even sure. Is there going to be a world, or not, we get these films that really, like something like The Conversation, really showcases that zeitgeist so well. So bring on the 4K, fellas.
All right, Mark, number 2 for you, sir.
Number 2 is Apocalypse Now. I mean, that it's a film that was talked about from older siblings to younger siblings. I think when it came out, I was probably 11, 10. I can't remember. But anyway, when I was old enough to watch it, it had already reached this mythical status. And usually when that happens, it's usually horror movies that build, on the school grounds. But it's one of the few ones that I felt personally lived up to whatever hype that I had hyped it up to be. It was everything I was wanting, basically. And frequent rewatching. And then, like I said, I saw, the Redux and then that crazy bootleg version that I had, it's incredible. Actually, I should have, I got the 8-track soundtrack of it recently, and I should have had it next to me here, but,
nice.
But everything from, the music to cinematography to the acting. And it was, and then of course, hearing of the backstory makes it even more mythological at this point too, it's incredible. So that's my number 2 pick, basically.
And a shout out.
We'll be talking about that more soon.
Hearts of Darkness.
We'll figure out who he's saying.
A documentary about the making of Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's apocalypse. If anybody out there is somehow not familiar with this, it's might be the greatest documentary about filmmaking and a filmmaker, going against the odds and fraying mentally. While everything goes wrong around him, and somehow it results in this masterpiece.
Well, I will go fairly quickly with my number 2. I'm going to jump all the way back to Dracula for this one.
Okay.
Again, something about the setting in this is just enough to make me every single time fall in love. The set design in this is astonishing. It is such a beautiful movie to look at, and the makeup's great. Gary Oldman is terrifying and somehow magnetic and weird and beautiful and hideous, and I love it. And everything about this movie was such a weird movie to watch as a child when I shouldn't have. But it made me love it from early on. And now I assume we're going to be talking a lot about the same movie. What's your number 1, Jim?
It's Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
And it's pretty far and away my number 1. Earlier Mark used the word mythical, talking about Apocalypse Now, and that's a big, I don't know. There's certain works of pop culture that somehow transcend the maker. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I went and saw the Rolling Stones in Denver last week, and the song, they can play the party songs and it's fun, but they play Paint It Black, or not, well, Paint It Black, and then they play, Sympathy for the Devil. These are songs that transcend them, and they're on this other plane somehow. Apocalypse Now, to me, is one of those works. It's on this other level and it's just, the theatrical cut is my go-to, of course. I think, like most people, I think that's what Mark said too. Then I would say the final cut, which is a few years old. And when they screen it these days, at movie theaters, it tends to be the final cut. It's fine, but it does keep that French plantation scene in there, which we could all do without.
Couple of you gotta see it once, because
sure, yeah, definitely once. I would recommend the Redux. Watch the Redux once. I took my daughter, who's my 4 kids. She's the only film buff. I took her to see Apocalypse Now a year ago, last summer, and she was 15 then. And I think it was maybe a little too soon. She hadn't seen a lot of I don't think she's seen any Vietnam movies. I don't think she'd seen any movies that harrowing. And I think it was too much. But I was explaining to her all the stuff in the Redux that is out. It's like, there's the weird scene where the Playboy bunnies come and they're muses. They're like the mythical muses, and then later in the Redux, they find him crashed in a helicopter and the guys get to have sex with him. It's like, well, that's in it. That's not in the final cut. Of course, Susie Q is, but anyway, I'm rambling. Apocalypse Now, I just love it so much. I think Walter Murch wrote a book about it, about the making of it, and it's just one of the great film books. I've got these shelves behind me filled with film books. That's a film book library, and that's one of the great film books. Is Murch's Apocalypse Now book. I can't remember the title because it's late. But anyhow, boy, I don't know. It's far and away. It's on a different level, you guys. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, this is number one for me primarily because it's Apocalypse Now and it's just so different. It is one of those movies that is I feel like saying an epic is not saying quite enough about it. It has so many things that it kind of defines the genre that it is in, and also inspired and also ruined for every other movie that was going to come after it. Lots of stories behind it, which make the film itself almost like folklore. And so with that, like, there's something about it that's just special. And so I agree, it's number one. But Mark, what do you got at number one?
I cheated. I kind of did two. Two being the first way that I saw Godfather, which was on TV. And Coppola edited part 2 and part 1 to be in chronological order. So it starts with De Niro, and then moves up to Cuba and things like that. It's called the Godfather Saga, and it's 2 and 1. And I think, if I remember correctly, he added footage that was not in the films, and of course took out footage that was probably too intense for TV at the time. But I don't know, I think it was re-rated today. It'd probably still be an R, but both of those films. But I don't remember there being too many scenes that were cut out. But I was thoroughly entranced by the Godfather Saga. And it kind of messed me up when I saw the movie separately later. Yeah. And I still fully enjoy watching those over and over again. I don't think there's a way to watch them anymore. He absolutely disavows that version of the Godfather. And Paramount's not going to do anything to piss him off, so they're not going to. No. They're not going to put it out, So
back in the day, didn't it get a VHS or a Laserdisc?
It did. Yeah, it's an awesome VHS release. Yeah.
I remember seeing that in a store.
Tapes, maybe. Yeah, it was like it was basically a miniseries. They cut it up into like a miniseries. And
it was the second sight, Dawn of the Dead of its day.
That's right.
This VHS thing you could buy.
There you go.
Creme de la creme of Godfather and everything else.
Oh, there we go.
Right.
Chris Silvestri saying, I get a nice VHS set of the saga.
Oh, cool. Yeah. But going back and watching the original films, brilliant, awesome, all that stuff as well. But it really did. It's almost like your first impression is always going to be the best, I guess, a lot of times.
Right.
And I felt like that. To me, the way it was presented to me when I saw it on TV, that really is, to me, the way to see it. And maybe I can just cut it up myself. I don't know. I'm not that big on iMovie or whatever, but I can find some way to do it to appease my desire to see it that way again. But I still have hope that maybe someday, we'll be able to check it out again. But Godfather Saga is my number one. Yeah.
That was a nice sneaky pick. I love it.
And I think it counts because if you look at,
Oh yeah.
again, Letterboxd, if you go on Letterboxd and you click on Francis Ford Coppola and you see all his movies, I think Godfather Saga is a separate one.
Okay.
So you're never going to be 100% Coppola complete until you've not only seen all 3 regular Godfather cuts, and then you also need to somehow watch that.
Right.
It's its own thing.
I mean, he worked on it, so like it wasn't like he said you do whatever. He worked on it, so it was its own. You're right. It is technically its own piece of art. So number one.
But that's the only recut that is, and like you'd mentioned earlier, Coppola recuts everything now.
Everything, literally.
Yeah, and Outsiders and what else? I mean, Dracula, I think got it, didn't it, or did it not get it yet? Apocalypse.
No, there is a director's cut. There is a director's cut of Dracula.
Cut, okay. Yeah, One from the Heart, of course. So many things. I have my list of most fascinating that are not all good movies, like Twixt. I just watched for the first time. I did not enjoy it. I think it's like somebody said on here. Who said it's a student film? It's up here at the top. Twixt is a dope student film. Props for Francis Ford Coppola giving props to PXL Vision Rocker. Okay, I don't know what we're talking about there, but that comment, yes, a dope student film is about right. I think Val Kilmer is terribly miscast in that, and I like Val Kilmer, but I don't know that he belongs in this movie playing this writer. Anyway, Twixt, the weird thing about Twixt, you guys, is that apparently there's a scene where Val Kilmer's character has a flashback about the death of his daughter, and it is remarkably, eerily similar to the death of Francis Coppola's son in real life. Giancarlo died in this boating accident with a rope.
Okay.
Coppola's oldest son was sadly killed in this boating accident where he was like decapitated or something. I mean, it's horrible. And here in this flashback, we have this scene in Twixt where that's how Val Kilmer's character's daughter dies, I guess, and it even kind of shows it, not in gory detail, but I can't imagine being a director and deciding to film that.
Unless it's catharsis for him.
Maybe, and but anyhow, that's in there. So we got to point to Twixt as something. It may not be a good movie, but it's darn fascinating for these reasons. I watched Coppola's very first feature. I think it's his first, maybe it's his second. It's called Tonight for Sure, and I had to watch that thing on the Internet Archive recently on the website. It's a terrible, terrible print of a terrible, terrible movie. It's made in 1961. It's a nudie movie. He took this like Western softcore nudie couple in his early career. This is how he got his foot in the door, was making these, kind of, girly cheesecakey exploitation movies. So he took an unfinished girly Western and his own student film, which is basically a guy is a peeping Tom movie. It's called The Peeper. It's 3 minutes long. And you can see this on Internet Archive as well, if you're so inclined. A guy looking through the door at a art photography studio where a woman takes off all her clothes, poses seductively, and then the guy goes in the door. He can't take it. He goes in the door, and there is a unattractive female photographer sitting there. And oh, dang it, wouldn't you just, all the dumb luck, what happened? What happened to the hottie? So he cuts those movies together and makes this one called Tonight for Sure. And to think that 10 years later, this same filmmaker will make the freaking Godfather. It blows your mind. Like, how did the guy that made this, like, gaudy piece of trash, go on to make The Godfather? It just goes to show you. So there's that. Tonight for Sure. Megalopolis is a very interesting project, even though we haven't seen it yet. One from the Heart, of course, is endlessly fascinating for the stories behind it. I have a DVD that came out back in the early 2000s. It's a 2-disc set full of behind-the-scenes documentary. So yeah, One from the Heart. I'm looking forward to upgrading that DVD. I hope all those extras are on it.
The company was his son. Phantomus.
What?
The company that put it out was his son. Phantomus. Yeah, so
okay.
that explains the access to Coppola, I guess.
I guess.
The connection there, yeah.
Yeah, No Love for Dementia 13. People are talking about that in the comments. It's fine.
That was a good one. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. And also somebody mentions up here about the Nudie Cuties from Kino Lorber. I reviewed that for ZekeFilm, my site. Pretty sure I just bought it from Kino today. I don't think Tonight for Sure is on the movie. Tonight for Sure is on the Nudie Cuties. It's the other Nudie Coppola movie, the something in the Playgirls.
Yeah. But it is, they sure leaned into the advertising. That is literally listed on the front of the set saying, including 3D footage filmed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. I saw he was working, I think, for Corman for a while.
Right.
He wasn't for Corman, but like they took, like, I want to say was it a Russian sci-fi movie or something? And then, or European sci-fi movie. And then they recut it for the American audiences. And they made these 2 aliens, monsters. One was definitely phallic, and the other one was definitely a vagina. And it was hysterical, that they got everything slid by whatever censors there were at the time, and probably showed it to kids, and a 3 p.m. matinee or something.
Probably 1959's Battle Beyond the Sun.
That's it. Yeah.
Battle Beyond, and maybe somebody out there knows if that's available. D7er, the Bellboy and the Playgirls is the name of the movie on the Kino, the Coppola movie on the Kino Lorber 3D Cuties, and it's not good, but it isn't. It's a curio. Battle Beyond the Sun, is that out there in any way whatsoever? All I know is if I want to watch it, I can watch it on an app called Plex, which is probably full of ads and utterly crappy quality. But I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Battle Beyond the Sun definitely doesn't have an HD release at all.
Okay. Something that maybe Film Masters could tackle. That's seems right up their alley.
Absolutely. Here's how.
Heard it here first.
Let's announce it. Yeah. No, let's.
Right. Okay, Film Masters.
Yeah. You have your assignment.
Wait a minute. It was Russian, right?
Oh.
Did he go to bed, Deaf Crocodile? I think
It's probably restoring in the background as we say this.
Right.
Notes.
Maybe, So, anyways, what was I talking about? One from the Heart. Then, of course, the most fascinating Coppola movie of all has to be Apocalypse Now. Again, for all the reasons we've already mentioned. So, that's there you go, guys.
Fun list.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I skimmed through an article saying that, like, for screenings of Megalopolis, there's a live scene in the film where there's something happening live in the theater you're in,
right?
And that some of these screenings are going to have somebody doing that part, and I don't know how that works.
I get the impression that we're not supposed to know that because I read reviews out of Cannes and they didn't mention it. But my kids knew it somehow. And they don't even have their ear to the entertainment press the way that some of us do. So it's weird that I hadn't heard. I thought maybe they were getting misinformation, but apparently it's true that there is a live interactive thing where actor or actors come out and interact with whatever's going on at some point. Like, and by the way, that's not new. Winsor McKay, the animator, did this in 1914 with his Gertie the Dinosaur film, where he stood next to the screen and yelled at Gertie, the animated dinosaur, on screen and interacted with it. So Coppola is just, bringing back a very, very old gimmick, but a gimmick nonetheless. And I hope that we can see it that way.
I just had somebody.
I'll do it. I'll be the guy. I'll come out and do the part if it comes down to it.
I'm sure Alamo Drafthouse will have the live actors, right? I mean, they'll if there's anybody that's going to do it, it'll be them.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Just make a server. It's like they come out to bring somebody their refill of popcorn, their endless popcorn, and set it down and go running to go do their part, and then get back to work.
Stan here says, I just looked at a lobby card for Battle Beyond the Sun. Yikes. And, even though the way that Mark talked about it was not safe for work, I'm going to show it on YouTube. He sent it to me. Look at this. This is so obvious.
Well, you're not wrong, Mark. You are not wrong.
My God.
Finally, I've been vindicated.
That is wild.
Wow. That's that should be Melusine. maybe they'll put that out.
It's the next Peakorama title.
Yeah, exactly.
Gentlemen, this has been a wonderful night. Thank you so much for talking about Coppola and new releases and everything else. Before we go, anything we want to shout out, Mark, other than the current sale? Anything else coming up?
The sale, we got more lined up, and feel free to, if you're ever in the region, we have a physical store. We are in Asheville, North Carolina. People, even before we were online, were making pilgrimages to our store because they found out there's a place that has movies for sale.
Yeah.
And we love meeting people from out of town. I love talking movies with you, and come on by. That's really what we got going on. We got a couple of conventions coming up. We finally got into a big one, Horror Hound. We've been trying to get into that one for a couple of years. So I think people sort of beat him down. He goes, fine, Orbit could come, but we're very thankful that we were allowed to come into Horror Hound this year. So just rocking and rolling and keep going, and thanks to everybody that's a customer out there. It's been a hell of a ride here past few years, and it's only getting bigger. This whole hobby, I think, is just growing and growing. So there's so many different facets to it that we can't be stopped.
I'll have to get you on sooner than 2 years, and maybe we can talk about that, like the current state of the industry based on a retailer that's touching everything.
Yeah. And my experience is way different than probably what Walmart would say. So it's just, once again, it's just a large market.
A little.
Yeah.
Mr. Tutor. Come after you. Anything you want to shout out?
I'll get those Steelbooks,
Those dang Steelbooks, man.
Yeah.
No. I'd like to shout out my website, ZekeFilm.org. It is a non-for-profit. We call it, our tagline is community through cinema. Our idea back in the day, this goes back to 2011. In different incarnations. We just try to, the very basic thing, like what's going on here, trying to unite people through love of movies or interest in movies. And that was a more novel thing back in 2011 than maybe it is now, but, it remains the tagline. And the website is, supposed to be a lot of different things to all people, but since I'm the one running it and I know how to be a film critic, basically it's a movie review site. That wasn't always the plan, but that's what we've got. I'm open to accepting content from, people that are interested, but we review movies, and it's a labor of love. It doesn't make me any money. It doesn't make anybody any money. There's no ads on the site. If you don't like looking at sites where ads are intrusive while you're trying to read reviews and things, hopefully ZekeFilm will be for you. We try to, we always aim for intelligent reviews, informed analysis and whatnot. We've got a gob of content on there. One of our contributors, his name's Paul Hibbert. He's a local St. Louis filmmaker. He's been with ZekeFilm before he even got into his current phase of filmmaking. He launched a film festival that is currently launching tonight, a horror festival called Hysteria Fest, where he's bringing in short horror films from all over the place and showing them at a local micro cinema and bar. And we've got a lot of Hysteria Fest coverage just because Paul is one of us. And, why not promote his festival? So that's on there right now. I've got a dual review that just went up of Quiet Place Day 1. Saw that the other night. We've got a new review of Daddy-O. We've got an oscilloscope film called Vertilac. It's a vampire thing, French. I'm probably saying it way wrong, but one of our new contributors, Claire is her name, Claire Mitch, has this review of this French horror film. Again, it's ZekeFilm.org. Give it a try, folks. I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
As usual, I'll shout out the Patreon if you're looking for more of that community. We've got a Discord through the Disconnected channel. Come on, hang out. And then the newest venture is trying to get the Physical Media Advocate, this magazine out into everybody's hands, and it's in a bunch of states across the U.S. and going hopefully to Canada and Australia soon. Talking to a couple of retailers, and we'll see what happens next. That's all I got. Gentlemen, I would love to have both of you back, please, if you would like. Thank you for a great night. And everybody in the chat, it's been a fun chat tonight. Lots of interaction. That's the best part. This is genuinely community, and I love you all. Until next Thursday, which I guess I'll let slip because usually in the magazine, I'll let everybody know some of the guests that are upcoming. There is a little bit of a surprise for next Thursday. So if you're intrigued by that, come hang out next Thursday. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for hanging out tonight. See you next Thursday. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.